away, and we have some excellent contests lined up for this evening. Alongside me to talk us through it is Max Jenkins. Lovely to have you with us, Max. It's great to be back here at Skate Central, isn't it? Usually being used for skating around, but adapted for the boxing. We've got some ringside seats here that are filling up already. A great atmosphere, and looking forward to a great night in Sheffield again.
Yeah, first one back, and it's good to be back. It's the first one on the
So it's the first one back. It's nice to see us back in Sheffield, and it's good to be back, Stacey, and it's a good card ahead.
Gentlemen, welcome this evening. Before we get underway with the action, the sport sadly lost a timekeeper recently, Gary Grennan, a timekeeper with the British board for over 20 years. He'll be sadly missed. Can I now ask everybody in the room to please stand for the traditional salute, the traditional 10 bells, as a mark of respect to Gary. So if everyone please stand, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please show your respect to Gary Grennan.
So looking ahead to what we can look forward to this evening then, to kick us off, we've got a female contest, 6'2", Tiana Schrader and Ivanka Ivanova. Then Mason Dickinson makes his return to Sheffield against Nathan Darby. Dean Walsh, a first time for him on FightZone TV in Sheffield, faces Octavian Gratii. Dylan Trevor faces Sam Kirk. Brendan Needham, a rematch against Marcin Prostko after the draw last time out. Left him really riled. Very disappointed Brendan Needham left the ring last October. Can he put it right tonight? He certainly will want to. And Mikey Harrison then facing Harry Matthews. And top of the bill, 10-2s, Commonwealth champion Nicola Hopewell, not defending the title this evening, but a tough test against Kate Radomska. So we've got a bit of everything ahead of us tonight, Max.
Yes, we've got a bit of everything. It's interesting to see the rematch between Brendan and Marcin, so that'd be a good test for him. And it's good to see Nicola back, and hopefully she moves on and we can get a big fight for her afterwards.
Well, we'll be getting started with the action in just a moment. Let's head to our MC for this evening, Craig Denno.
Welcome to Skate Central Sheffield. Mr. Dennis Hobson and Fight Academy, proudly sponsored by J&J Crumb & Sons, Island Paving, Grand Cayman, GSM Electrical and A-Team Cranes, present live on FightZone 7 contests of professional boxing, sanctioned by the British Board of Boxing Control. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to make some noise. Sheffield, it's time to start boxing. So, ladies and gentlemen, contest round number 1 is 6 rounds in the female flyweight division. Introducing to the ring, your blue corner, give it up for Ivanka Ivanova.
So 38-year-old Bulgarian Ivanka Ivanova making her way to the ring. This her 40th appearance as a professional. Made her debut in 2016. She's had 3 10-rounders though, so brings a good deal of experience. Faced the likes of Nicola Hopewell, who's top of the bill this evening, Shannon Ryan and Tori Ellis-Willett. So she's been in with some fighters with decent amateur pedigree who brought that form to the professional ranks. So she'll provide a decent test for Tiana Schrader this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, making her way to the red corner, give it up for Tiana Schroeder.
Here comes the tornado, Tiana Schrader. She's just 1-0. She's only had 1 fight, but vastly experienced. She fought in the Team Combat League over in the US, representing the San Antonio Snipers at 126 pounds. Been Canadian champion in 2019, born and raised in Calgary, Alberta, but now has made her home in Waterford, Ireland. She's over here with a really strong team that they've brought over. She's a Golden Gloves champion twice, provincial champion 3 times, and her goal is to hold belts in multiple weight divisions. And she's a pretty heavy hitter, and she'll be looking to put on a real statement this evening.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is 6 rounds of boxing in the female flyweight division. The contest sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control and your area representative, Mr. Alan Ulster. Your timekeeper from Doncaster, Mr. Chris Hancock, and your referee from Sheffield, Mr. Mark Downey. That's your officials, ladies and gentlemen. Now to your boxers. Firstly, boxing end of the blue corner, hailing from Bulgaria, wearing the black and gold. Weighing 8 stone, 2 pound, 12 ounces with a professional record of 40 bouts. Give it up for Ivanka, the Lioness Ivanova! And ladies and gentlemen, across the ring, her opponent, boxing out of the red corner, wearing the black shorts with white trim. Hailing from Waterford, Ireland, in her 2nd professional bout. Weighing 7 stone, 12 pounds and 9 ounces. Give it up for the Tornado, Tiana Schroeder!
Go through the rules, got a good clean fight. Listen to my instructions and make sure you protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves, touch guns.
Tiana Schrader then, along with the brother Dylan, have both made plenty of statements in their home country of Canada. Canadian champion, twice Golden Gloves champion and provincial champion as well. And as I say, fought in that Team Combat League out in the US. And you can see already why they call her the Tornado. Having seen her previously in action, she's a heavy hitter. She really sits down on her shots, and those looping shots that find their way around the back of the guard of her opponents have undone previous opponents. But the Bulgarian, Ivanka Ivanova, this her 40th appearance as a professional, should provide a decent test for Schrader. A debut last December against Kinga Stanisvejska in Ireland was a stoppage. It doesn't do any harm putting on a statement, but of course we want a stern test to go the rounds to develop and build that endurance. But as I say, at 126 pound, represented the San Antonio Snipers in the Team Combat League, so brings decent amateur pedigree and some degree of experience in the mixed leagues as well to this, her 2nd official professional outing. And this is a good start, Max, from Schrader.
Yeah, Schrader, I mean, to be honest, being a pedigree, Golden Gloves, it takes some doing to win that. And look, as you see it now, she's starting to break down on the shots, sit down on them, and she just wants to sit in the middle of the ring. So it's a good start. See, nice.
There's been no settling into this one for Schrader. She went straight to work from the opening bell, but Ivanova will have expected that. They will have watched footage and known what's coming, but seeing it and being in there with this kind of ferocity are two different things. As she has that low lead hand, Schrader just walks Ivanova onto the backhand, and a good opening round for Schrader. Looking back at some of the action there, we can see nice fluid movement from Schrader, and then she has that relaxed style, doesn't she, just walking Ivanova onto a shot, and she's very quickly figured out the right distance and range for herself to operate effectively, Max.
Yeah, I mean, all she does is, look, she just wants to trade, stays in the middle of the ring, make dominance, and you know, she gets an experienced journey with.
Seconds out. Round 2.
This one's scheduled for 6-2s. Ivanova taking an age to get up from a stool there, just putting the gum shield in, and Schrader again wastes absolutely no time in setting about her opponent, really sitting down on that backhand now as it's accurate, finding a home frequently. Ivanova finding it difficult to keep Schrader off, but happy to exchange in the centre ring. Looping shots from both of them, and perhaps Ivanova could do with throwing those shots straight down the pipe, as Schrader does tend to throw those looping shots, doesn't she, with both hands. She's getting caught as well, so needs to be a little bit more savvy defensively, Max.
I'd like to see a bit more variation from her. I'd like to see, you know, the jab to the body, jab, you know, and let the jab set it up instead of going in for like a 3 combination. Be a little bit more cuter.
This is exactly the sort of test that Schrader needs at this stage. 3rd round stoppage on a debut in December, but these are the kind of fights that she's going to develop and learn. She's going to have to adapt, going to be asked questions by Ivanova. Schrader in the black shorts with the silver tornado written across her waistband, Ivanova in the orange and black. Just takes a step back, Ivanova, and then just dips ahead as Schrader comes forward. Just 21 years old, the Canadian, based in Waterford Island now. Seems to be enjoying playing a trade there. Lovely work again with both hands from Schrader at that mid-range.
Yeah, I just see that lovely pivot off again, and I just like to see a little bit, Stacey, more variation. Like she's getting caught now. See,
there's a difficult balance as well, because there was nice movement there at times where she walked her onto the shot, caught her coming in and then pivoted off, but just got to be careful not to get her feet too tangled.
Look, she's in a different atmosphere, different place, and to be honest with you, you know, you can't like illustrate everything in one fight, so there's going to be stuff that you miss, you know, or variations you miss. So to be honest with you, you know, let's see a little bit more variation. Let's see a bit more work to the body and see if she can open up instead of head hunting all the time.
You can just see Schrader there on the replay, just waiting, showing a little bit of patience there, waiting for Ivanova to step forward, but just slight concerns about that footwork at times when she steps back. Just needs to keep that solid foundation beneath her.
Round 3.
But a good opening couple of rounds for Schrader as we enter the 3rd. This one's scheduled for 6-2s. Had a last win in September 2023, did Ivanova, the Bulgarian. Got a record of 6-29-4, stopped just 3 times in her 29 losses. since that win in 2023. All been losses, with the exception of one draw. But as I say, she has been in with some decent opposition, including the likes of Shannon Ryan, Nicola Hopewell, who's top of the bill tonight, the current flyweight Commonwealth champion, Tori Ellis-Willits, an outstanding amateur who's making waves in the pro ranks as well. And 3 of her contests been 10-round distance, so brings really good experience and great matchmaking this, because this is going to bring the best out in Schrader. Just perhaps needs to tidy up defensively at times in terms of her footwork and also defences, because she is shipping a couple of shots from Ivanova, but that firepower coming back, really good display. And it's pleasant to watch, isn't it, Max, that kind of sitting down on her shots and really letting her hands go.
I do like the shots. I like her artillery she's got, and I like the pivots off and comes out. She doesn't sit on the line, but the defensive work when she attacks has to be a bit tighter. What a shot.
Straight back into the thick of the action after the referee just separated them for a moment. As soon as the action resumed, both letting the hands go and landed almost simultaneously. This has been fought at a really intense pace. Great way to kick us off here at Skate Central in Sheffield on FightZone TV. What a way to kick the night off. I mean, this has been non-stop pretty much, hasn't it? They've both taken a step back in the odd breather, but as soon as they've had chance, they've gone toe-to-toe and let the hands go, haven't they, at close range?
To be honest, it's just like you could put them in a telephone box, if I'm honest, and have a bit of a go at each other. It's actually good to watch, and it is nice to watch, but unfortunately, I want to see a bit more of the fundamentals there on the defensive work. When you're going into attack, yeah, it's fine, but let's be a bit smart about it. That's what I'd be saying to the young Canadian.
Good work behind the jab from Ivanova. That's exactly what she needs to do. Nice straight shots, because they'll get there quicker than those looping shots from Schrader. So that's a good adaptation from her. Rather than swinging with Schrader, she's targeting those straight shots down the middle.
Nice,
but a lovely flurry in reply from Schrader. She's not allowing her an inch. As soon as she lands, she fires back. Wonderful backhand there, looping round the side of the chin of Ivanova. Work to the body as well and back upstairs. This is good work from Schrader, mixing up her shots, head and body. Good variety. Ivanova making this more than competitive though, because she's landing shots of her own as well.
I just feel, Stacey, at times she can just be a little bit more tidier going into defensive work.
Yeah, perhaps if we're going to be hypercritical, because this has been a really good performance, but in terms of her development and where she wants to go, she wants to hold belts in multiple weight divisions. Lovely backhand there, right down the pipe from Schrader. But if that's the case, you can see at times as she steps back, her feet a little bit messy. She's better off having that solid base underneath her, and sometimes a little bit open and vulnerable in these exchanges, but that is all part of learning. Just 21 years old, remember, so lots of time for development for Schrader, and there is plenty to work with. Really exciting fighter. She's got a great style to watch.
What I do like, Stacey, she just doesn't stay on the line. When she does get into attack or comes into like an attack, she moves off the line, so there is some really good fundamentals there. Like just then, moves off really well.
She's mixed the shots up well in this round as well, head and body. Switches to the southpaw stance just temporarily, but really good stuff from Schrader, and it's not being critical, it's just picking up those things that at this stage she will want to work on before they step up and go through the levels. That defensive base and, you know, being as solid as possible is going to be important, especially if she's looking to move through the weight divisions eventually.
I mean, definitely, as she gets better opponents and steps up, she will have to learn to tighten up defensively. But look, she's young, you know, it's a part of development, and these are the sort of fights you need to learn, because let's be honest, you can't keep just putting opponents out to kip each time. It's, you know, you need these learning fights.
10 seconds, corners. Seconds out. Round 5.
Here we go then, the penultimate round, this one scheduled for 6-2s, and we've really enjoyed the two of these going at it toe-to-toe at times as well, and been fought at a great pace this, both willing to load up and trade at close quarters. Schrader having the better of the exchanges though, and doing the better work, as you can see, when she puts those combinations together, really effective, snapping the head back of Ivanova. But she's given a really good account of herself, the Bulgarian, and certainly landed a few decent shots of her own from round to round, Max. Impressive stuff from both of them.
Yes, I mean, look, you know, the Canadians, like, you know, winning by a smidge each time, each round goes on, but the rounds are so competitive. So, you know, I've got no complaints about the competitor. She's always in the fight, the Bulgarian.
Just feels sometimes if Schrader just tap with a couple of shots and then loads up, because when every single shot is at full pelt, it's predictable for the opponent, and they just tuck up and ride it. And I think she could be more, they could be more damaging if she mixes them up with a couple of tapping shots and then loads up, just to mix it up so that Ivanova doesn't know what's coming. But again, that'll come with experience.
Maybe a feint or something, you know, just to, like, a dummy, just to see if she, like, you know, flinches or something.
It's good work at close range, and sometimes perhaps she just takes a little step out and then goes back in again to vary the attacks. But a lovely reverse 1-2 there from Schrader, and again straight through the guard of Ivanova. Really important in these 2-minute rounds to make a statement, land clear shots, and leave the referees or judges, obviously depending on the circumstances, in no doubt. But you have to work quickly and effectively in that short time.
Definitely, yes.
An exhausted looking Ivanova, you can see her there gasping, trying to get as much air in as possible. It has been fought at a pretty intense pace, this has, as the coach just trying to cool her down and rally his fighter. A much more relaxed looking Schrader in the other corner, plenty more in the tank left for her. Seeing some of the action now on your screen, and there, a beautiful backhand from Ivanova, perfectly timed. And those are the shots that Schrader is going to have to tighten up her defences to combat, because when she steps up against better opposition, without disrespecting Ivanova, going to have to be more astute when it comes to her defences. But just 21 years old, and plenty to like about Schrader, as again the two meet straight in the middle and lock horns and let the hands go. Ivanova just trying to hold on, but Schrader manages to wiggle away out of that, let her hands go again, and just that little step back or that step to the side to change the angle, proving effective for Schrader. That's an adaptation she's made between the rounds effectively. Again, what will come with experience is just setting the shots up rather than loading up with every single shot, which I have to say is testament to her high levels of fitness for Schrader, because she hasn't let up with the intensity, and she's loaded up with almost every single shot that she's let rip. But for that effectiveness, we'll want to bring in some variation. Lovely backhand there, seemed to stiffen the legs of Ivanova as she shipped another one in quick succession, and she's struggling here. Ivanova, the referee having a good look at her because she's taking some heavy blows to the side of the head from that right hand of Schrader. Just needs to be careful not to fall in, Schrader, and smother her own work as she just pushes Ivanova off and just finds herself a little off balance. Really good work this has been from Schrader. Very impressive performance and plenty to work with for her coaches. Lots of room for development, of course, which is exactly what these early stages are about, but really, really good performance. She's been relentless. And Ivanova has done really well to hang in there because that last round was really, really brutal. She took some huge shots again and again and again in quick succession and managed to stay on her feet and keep replying as well when she got chance. So really good stuff from the Bulgarian in her 40th appearance. 38 years old as well, remember. So 18 years Schrader's senior. So fair play to her. But Schrader, 21 years old, impressive amateur pedigree, really, really exciting fighter in this division. And I think announcing herself here on FightZone TV, fans are going to want to see her again because she has so much to like, doesn't she? Really exciting, Max.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, she's got good pedigree. She's got it going on, really. She's got a good skill set. I just want to see her a bit tidy up defensively going forward, but it's learning for her.
Well, both fighters making their way to the centre of the ring as we await our official announcement. My MC, Craig Denholm.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both boxers. So, ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, A-star judge Darren Surgison scores the bout 60-54 in favour of your winner and still undefeated, boxing out of the red corner, it's Tiana Schroeder. Once again, a round of applause. Both boxers give it up for Ivanka.
And I think that's a fair reflection, isn't it, Max, of, you know, Ivanova gave a great account of herself. She made it competitive. She landed some cracking shots in there as well. But the sheer relentlessness and that tornado-like nature of that performance from Tiana Schrader was pretty incredible stuff in just her second fight and 21 years old.
Yeah, I think as well, when you look at Stacey, how she does, you know, she wants to just have a scrap in a phone box. She wants to see it a little bit more cuter going forward.
Well, we'll hear from Tiana Schrader ringside in just a moment. Years old, your second outing as a professional. What a performance against a really experienced fighter. Her 40th, she's been the distance 3 times in 10 rounds against good opposition. How pleased were you with your performance?
Yeah, I know she was a tough boxer, you know, I seen she fought really big names, but I know what I'm capable of and have a great team behind me, and I knew I could have won.
Something that people might wonder is how the tornado got all the way from Canada to Waterford in Ireland.
Big shout out to my boyfriend, Kevin. He brought me here. I met Jimmy just 5 months ago, and I'm already 2-0, and plenty of more fights to come.
I know that your goal is to be a multi-weight world champion and hold a variety of belts at different weights. You clearly carry the power to do that. You were relentless in there tonight.
Like my coach says, I have to go out there and be ruthless between any fighter. You're right, I want to be multi-weight champion in different weight classes, but first I'm going to stay at 50 kg and then work my way up or down.
I know you're part of a boxing family with your brother Dylan. I'm sure there's lots of them watching back home. Do you want to give them a shout out?
Yeah, big shout out to my family, Dylan, Ashton, my mom and dad, my dogs. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Absolutely, listen, a great performance. Looking forward to seeing you on Fight Zone again. Well done.
Cheers, mate.
Well, a very happy Tiana Schrader there. What a performance it was from her. She's really made a statement against a very seasoned Bulgarian in Ivanova, and she is one to watch. We thought she would be, but she lived up to it, and we're looking forward to seeing the Tornado in action again. We're moving on now. Mason Dickinson and Nathan Darby up next. Let's get the official introductions with our MC, Craig Denholm.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we go on to the second contest of the evening. 4 rounds in the super welterweight division. Introducing your blue corner to the ring, give it up for Nathan Darby.
Nathan Darby then has not had far to travel this evening. Not too far away, the 25-year-old from Rotherham. He's had 16 fights, 1 win, 14 losses and 1 draw. Only stopped once in those 14 losses though. Been very active, 15 fights last year. This is second outing of 2025 and already has another 2 lined up after this. So a very busy man is Nathan Darby, but not too far to travel this evening.
And ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, your red corner, give it up for Mason Dynamite Dickinson.
Well, he's known for making a ring walk. Wearing a mask is Mason Dynamite Dickinson, the 24-year-old from Sheffield. He's had 6 fights, 5 wins, 1 loss, and that loss came last time out. His first as a pro last October. That was on the UK v USA show out in Texas. A 4th round stoppage against Carlos Rodriguez. Says that he wants to make his supporters proud and reintroduce himself tonight as a winner. He'll be keen to do that. Had 28 amateur bouts. He wants to re-establish himself here as a winner following that first loss.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this contest is 4 rounds in the super welterweight division, and the contest sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Your area representative, Mr. Alan Ulster. Your timekeeper at the bell is Mr. Chris Hancock of Doncaster, and your referee, A-Star Michael Alexander of Doncaster. Introducing your boxers, and firstly, your blue corner making his 18th bout as a professional. Wearing the white shorts with the black trim. Hailing from Rotherham, give it up for Nathan Darby! And ladies and gentlemen, across the ring, his opponent boxing out of the red corner, wearing the brown and silver. Hailing from Sheffield, his professional record, 5 wins, 1 coming by knockout, 1 loss. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mason Dynamite Dickinson.
Right, lads, you both know the rules, so let's just have a go.
Here we go then. A local clash, this one. Nathan Darby, the 25-year-old from Rotherham, in the blue corner with the white shorts and the black waistband. And Mason Dynamite Dickinson from Sheffield, the 24-year-old. So very similar in age, these two. He has the brown shorts with the silver and the white tassels. Boxing out of the orthodox stance. Darby, of course, southpaw. Tentative opening few seconds, this, as can often be the case when you get orthodox and southpaw. And he may, Dickinson, carry a little caution into this, having been stopped in his last outing. Can, of course, affect fighters mentally. He'll just want to be nice and tight and keep behind that guard and work behind that jab. Dickinson won't want to take any risks here in this opening round. Boxes out of the Titans gym in Gleadless, Sheffield, under John Fuchs and Graham Dickinson, and I'm sure they will have done a lot of work with him in the gym following that first loss. He just takes a backhand to the top of the head from Darby. Darby just skipping around the outer area of the ring, his back just grazing the ropes, and then he moves off again.
I find he's a little bit too cautious for my liking, Stacey, on this.
He said he's been motivated by Anthony Joshua, how he responded to his first loss, and it's good to have role models to look up to and sort of try and emulate what you feel they've done well. So whatever he's had to do mentally to get himself back in there since that loss in October, I'm sure there's a lot of mental work that's gone into that, as well as the standard physical training that you would do for any fight. And he'll just want to be cautious this opening round, but as you say, Max, sometimes can be a little bit too cautious, but he does seem to be warming to this, and he's closing the distance and just stalking Darby bit by bit and finding a way through.
I just feel he's obviously being fighting a southpaw, it naturally takes your jab away. So he is being cautious, and I like that. Just that body shot with the right. It doesn't have to just fake with the left and release with the right. And he's starting to do it now, just then.
And usually you would advise an orthodox fighter to move to their left to avoid the backhand, yes. And he is circling to the right quite a bit, which is something that perhaps his corner will ask him to adjust in between rounds, because he's stepping onto that backhand of Darby frequently, isn't he? And serving better to move to the left, you would have to say.
But it's hard, Stacey, because the knockout in...
Cut the ring off well there, though, and got a couple of shots off. Nothing too effective, but hopefully take confidence from that last encounter.
I mean, it's going to be tough for Mason. He suffered a really, really bad loss. A learning loss, I'd say. In America, and it was a knockout blow, so mentally it does scar you. So it takes a lot of work to get back in there. And, it's a cautious first round, but it wasn't dreadful. I'd like to see him start working into it and keep going. I just want to see him obviously move around the opposite direction, because he is going into the backhand a little bit too much for me. But, hopefully the corner will tell him that.
Seeing some of that replay action on your screen now, and you can just see Dickinson just circling to his right, and you do want him to circle to the left instead in order to avoid that backhand of Darby. Fighting out of that southpaw stance. Looked very relaxed, Darby, in between rounds there. That first round having taken nothing out of him whatsoever. Well conditioned, of course, these away fighters. 15 fights last year, Darby. And as I mentioned before, this his second outing of the year, and has another 2 lined up after this as well. So he is busy. He'll be in shape all the time, and he's just flicking out that jab now. Mason needs to take his head off that central axis to avoid that encounter, as he just tries to push him back. Can he capitalise on this position now? He wasn't able to trap him in the corner and let him out there.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep it. I wanted to see Mason keep him there then.
And I can actually now hear from the corner John Fuchs and Graham Dickinson encourage him to move to the left, and he still seems to have that tendency to move to the right. And you don't always know in advance who you're going to be facing, of course, at this stage of your career, and may not have had that much work against southpaws. He has plenty of sparring with local fighters at Titans, and indeed his stablemates as well. Just needs to make the adjustments to this southpaw stance and
I just feel
circle away from that backhand, Max.
Yeah, I just feel his work rate needs to improve a little bit and up a little bit. You can't have your hands in your pockets, and I feel at the minute Mason's having his hands too much in his pockets.
Yeah, he's got to start going through the gears here now, and pretty evasive movement from Darby, making it difficult for Dickinson to plant his feet. Has a chance now though, can he make the most of it? Gets a body shot off before Darby's able to pivot away. Better work from Dickinson there, that's what he needs to do, Max. Go and then go again. Make it more difficult for Darby to defend and move off. Another good backhand from Dickinson. He's building now. Can he turn up the heat a little bit more though? Needs to keep the pressure on here and not allow Darby to throw those looping shots. Catches him again with that jab. Needs to keep that lead hand high, Dickinson.
I just feel Darby's not uncomfortable one bit at the minute. I just feel, look, there's no strain on him. Look at his face. He's just in gear 1. He needs to be like in gear 2, gear 3, a little bit of panic on him. There's more work, there's more panic on Mason at the minute. So I want to see it, just the tide turning a little bit better.
You can pressurise a fighter either with the power that you possess and make them respect that power, or that sheer work rate, intelligent pressure and volume. One or the other needs to come from Dickinson to stamp his authority on this one, you feel?
It's not convincing at the minute. I just want to see more from Mason, and he can do more than this.
He says he spent this camp redefining himself, reinventing himself, getting back to basics, and perhaps, as we said, maybe on his mind that first loss and the nature of it coming by way of stoppage. Says he's a dark horse in this division, quiet by nature but with a great work ethic, and he is a natural introvert, but boxing allows him to have an alter ego and has built his confidence outside the ring as well, which is great to hear. But he really has been desperate to right the wrongs of that last outing in October, and he's got 2 rounds to really step things up here, Max, and stamp his authority on this one, because he did say it was important to him to reintroduce himself as a winner, and for that he's going to have to really lift himself, isn't he, and push himself, lift the intensity and lift that mentality here.
Yeah, I just think this is an important round for Mason now. He needs to stamp his authority on, because I think Darby got one of the previous rounds, if I'm honest. I don't know about you, Stacey, but he needs to stamp on it, and he's up in the pressure now, I think.
A few feints with that front foot now as he's just trying to... Oh, he just steps right onto a stiff jab from Darby there. He's got to take his head off that central axis as he launches his attacks.
That's the thing I want to see from Mason. Move his head a little bit more head movement. He seems to be too static for me. So, again, another hand backhand by Darby. Again, it's getting caught too easy.
And this is the difficulty, isn't it? When you start to try and stalk somebody and pressure them, you can put yourself in a position where you're walking onto shots. Has to be a bit more head movement as Dickinson makes his way in. Can't just maraud forward, because Darby is really quite astute, isn't he?
Yes.
He's an intelligent boxer, and he's just finding the gaps and picking Dickinson off when he steps in, so it's playing into his hands. So he's got to be considered about how he attacks here.
I just feel Darby is not under really much pressure. You know, he's just taking it in his proper stride. I just think that gap needs to be closed a lot more quicker, a little bit more intense, because he's comfortable, Darby.
Needs some feints, doesn't he, on the outside, Dickinson,
Yes.
before he steps in, because it's just coming forward in straight lines and making it easy for Darby to pick him off. Although, not to discredit Darby, his timing and accuracy has been on point.
Brilliant. Darby's just happy sitting on the outside, waiting for him, and just, you know, moving off and just pivoting and getting him back, like just now. You know, he's doing this quite well, Darby. He's very seasoned, Darby.
Dickinson just continuing to try and pressure Darby. There's a little bit of success there, but the success has been too infrequent, and he will be desperate to put on a big performance here. Just finding it difficult to pin Darby down, and this is a tough comeback fight after a loss, isn't it? To have somebody as elusive as Darby, because he's really got a lot of he's a puzzle, isn't he, Darby, for Dickinson, and he's struggling to solve it here. So it's a tough one for him to come back when he was dealing with that first loss.
I mean, what do you do, Stacey?
Good work from him there, though, and perhaps a good tactic for him to work to the body, because when somebody's moving as much as Darby is, working to the body can be effective, because it might slow them down, but also the body is that biggest target area to go for, Max.
I mean, personally, if it was up to me, I wouldn't have put Mason back in with a southpaw. I would just do an orthodox version of that. It just fries your mind that little bit more, being a southpaw. And especially Mason, he thrives off this jab a little bit. He needs a knockout, I think, in this next round, if I'm honest.
He's looking very relaxed, is Nathan Darby.
Yes.
He's been economical with his energy and his movements. He's got plenty in reserve here. He's not been troubled at all. And Dickinson will really want to put on the pressure, and he really tried that in the opening stages of the third round, but found himself being picked off by Darby, and that deterred him. So the corner desperately trying to gain clarity with their instructions for Dickinson as we enter the fourth and final round, where hopefully he can find success. More feints needed from Dickinson, because then he can elicit a response from Darby and then counter and maybe fashion an opening. This is better from him. Working well, nice head movement now. That's what he's needed.
So he's getting caught in the way in each time.
Just needs to be defensively aware that when he's thrown, has to defend afterwards. Another good backhand to the body from Dickinson, though. This is a better opening from him in these first few seconds. Again, just needs to take a step back to find space for those shots, and he does. Good work from Dickinson there in that exchange. Catches him with a jab on the way out as well. This is a good start to the fourth and final round from Dickinson, which he may need. Working behind that jab now, stepping in, needs to keep doing what brought him success, though. Needs to keep that head movement up and those feints. This is better. Finding a better range and distance from which to work from now, Dickinson.
See, this is a little bit better.
Slams that one into the body. Again, the body work has been good in these last couple of rounds from Dickinson. Starting to circle to the left as well to evade that backhand from Darby.
Yes.
This is better from him. This is what they'll want to see in just his seventh fight, is the adjustments between rounds, Max.
Look, how he is doing now, I wanted to see this in the second round. He's left it too late, in my opinion. He's got to keep this urgency up.
You can see he's been encouraged by these moments of success, Dickinson. His body language and that little smile that he's given to Darby in those last couple of exchanges. He's had far more success in this round by bringing together that up in intensity but intelligent pressure, as well as he just as I say, that chips a shot from Darby. A reply though with a decent shot sunk into the body of Darby. He's had a little bit more to do in this round. Is he fleet-footed, fluid movement?
He just needs
and he's just making it difficult for Dickinson to pin him down now with this nifty footwork. Dickinson needs to step up here. Good work. It's been a much better final round from Dickinson with those feints and head movement and circling to his left.
Unfortunately, I think, you know...
There goes the clackers now. Dickinson will want to land his last couple of telling shots just in case it's in doubt, and not sure what the result will be of that one, but what you can say is it's really difficult coming back from a first loss and a stoppage as well, but a much better fourth round from Dickinson, and that's what the corner will be looking for him to have improved from round to round. And you could see those improvements.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I just feel that Mason, he left it a little bit too late. If he started off the second round in from the fourth like he did in the fourth, he would have got more of a result. I'm not sure how the judge is going to review this, if I'm honest. I hope Mason gets it.
It'll be the referee's decision this, so we'll see what Michael Alexander, how he's seen it. It's his opinion that's the one that counts as he calls both fighters to the centre of the ring as we await the official announcement from our MC, Craig Denholm.
Draw, I think.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for and ladies and gentlemen, A-star referee Mr. Michael Alexander scores about 39 to 38 in favour of your winner, boxing out of the red corner.
Well, a win then for Mason Dickinson, 39-38. A good performance from Nathan Darby. Really made it difficult for Dickinson, but he made the necessary adjustments, and particularly that final round I'm sure he'll be happy with, because he was much more effective and had much more success than in the rounds before it. So well done to him. Much improved from one round to the next, and we'll hear what he has to say ringside in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, just while we do the interviews at ringside, just a couple of mentions. Firstly, Dennis Hobson would like to congratulate his business partner, Steve Crump, on the birth of his new baby, Louis. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we have an unsung hero in the room today. Mr. Tony Booth from Hull, 167 professional bouts as a professional, so a massive round of applause for Tony. His boxers like that, they keep this sport going and develop other boxers. Thank you.
It can be really tough coming back from a loss, especially a stoppage. I'm sure that may have played a part in the back of your mind. I know you wanted to reintroduce yourself as a winner tonight, although I'm sure your supporters won't have ever thought of you anything other than a winner. But how difficult was it? That was a tough one to come back to, an elusive southpaw.
Well, you know, boxing's my escape, it's where my confidence comes from, so when I took that loss, it broke me, it broke my heart. And along these last few months, I've had some demons to get rid of. And I'd say, to be honest, I bet I only had 6 weeks where I really got a mindset where, yeah, I've got this, I'm going to do this. So them demons have been on my back a lot, and every time I've come in gym, they've got quieter and quieter, they're gone. I'm back. Today, it weren't about impressing no one. I just need to get back in, get back to basics, and do what I do best. And, you know, I'll keep it simple. Forget everyone else outside the ring, they're not fighting for me, so that's what I did today. Slow start, but I'm always my worst critic, and I'm happy with performance, that's all that matters.
And I think what you can take from that, and perhaps what your corner will take from that, is that your fourth round was your best. You had more success there, which shows you were able to make the necessary adjustments and figure out that the puzzle that Darby posed. What were the things that you did particularly different in the fourth, you think?
Majority, to be honest, were just confidence. You know, even amateurs, I only fought very few southpaws. It's hard to get southpaw sparring, but we got what we did. We had some quality sparring. And you know, Nathan's a tough opponent. Like, he's so much better than his record. So it was always about having a slow first round, just figuring him out. And he's very tricky, very unpredictable. But I feel like I just went up the gears, did as I was told, and you know, he got me the win. So win-win.
Well, listen, everyone's always thought of you as a winner, but hopefully you see yourself in that way tonight as well. Well done for getting back in there. Nobody can understand what a loss is like and how difficult it is getting back in there. Have you a word for your supporters, and can you tell us what's next?
Thank you for everything, you know. So many people, I had like over 100 people messaging saying unlucky about Texas, and you know, even less people support you when you've had a loss, but my fans, you know, they've kept with me, so have my sponsors, and I feel like today's a small part of repaying them. As for the future, I'll go back to Dennis, I'll go back to John, and whatever they say is best, I'll follow their lead.
Well, listen, well done tonight. You did a really big thing getting back in there, and you managed to get the win as well against a tricky fighter. Enjoy this one tonight, and well done.
Thank you, appreciate it. Cheers.
Hey, well done, well done.
6 rounds in the super welterweight division. Introducing first your blue corner to the ring. Give it up for Octavian and Gratii.
33-year-old Octavian Gratii, 87 fights under his belt. The Moldovan lives now in Romania. Really busy fighter, 22 fights last year. And this is second outing of 2025. All that experience he'll be bringing to Dean Walsh.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing to the ring your ring corner. Give it up for Dean, the Gladiator Walsh.
And the man is facing Dean Walsh from Wexford in Ireland, 30 years old. He's 1-0, having won his debut last December with a first round stoppage against Tamas Horvath over in Waterford, Ireland. Horvath was down 4 times in that first round. He's had top class sparring with none other than Paddy Donovan, who's in a huge fight tonight against Lewis Crocker, of course, the final eliminator for the IBF World title. So couldn't have had better sparring in preparation for this one. He's also sparred with Liam Walsh. Plenty of influences, including Michael Conlon, standout amateur Olympic medalist, Commonwealth, European and world champion as a pro. Katie Taylor as well, Olympic gold medalist and world champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is contest number 3. It's 6 rounds of the Super welterweight division, and the contest is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Your representative, Mr. Alan Ulster, your timekeeper at the bar, Mr. Pete Godfrey from Doncaster, and your referee, A-Star, Darren Sargentson of Manchester. Now introducing your boxers, firstly boxing out of the corner, wearing the green camouflage, making his 18th bout as a professional, weighing 11 stone 5 ounces. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Octavian Gratii. And ladies and gentlemen, across the ring, his opponent boxing out of the red corner, wearing the white and purple, making his second appearance as a professional. Hailing from Waterford, Ireland, weighing 11 stone 2 pounds 2 ounces. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for T, the Gladiator Walsh.
Fellas, you both know the rules. Keep it clean. Nothing low. Watch your heads. I want to say break, take a step back. Most important, defend yourself at all times.
So Dean Walsh in his second appearance as a professional, 13 times national champion, 6 times as an elite champion, European medalist, and went to the Olympic qualifiers but just missed out. So real quality amateur pedigree that he brings to the pro ranks, and had his opponent down 4 times on his debut last December. First round stoppage. Fights out of the Peak Fitness Gym in County Waterford, Ireland. Got a good team with him, Jimmy Payne and his son David Payne, and Donald Walsh in his corner. His dad, of course, so very much a family affair, this. Nice work behind the jab in these opening stages from Walsh, and we see that powerful backhand there. Gratii will be aware of the power that he possesses, and he's feeling it already and tucking up. Just tries a speculative looping shot of his own, but heavy artillery coming in from Dean Walsh already. The Gratii will have defence in mind at this stage. Real heavy hands, Dean Walsh. Nice work to the body.
Nice body shots.
Good work from him. Dean Walsh fighting out of the red corner in the white shorts and gold and purple, and then Gratii in the green and black. He just finds himself off balance. Going to have to be careful here, Gratii. He's very experienced. 87 fights, stopped just 3 times in his 75 losses. So he is seasoned. He knows how to get through the rounds, but really under pressure here as Dean Walsh can't allow himself to get frustrated. This is part of the development, of course. Finding openings, finding a way to break away fighters down. He's going to have to be patient here, bide his time. Gratii well conditioned, but they do take the toll, those shots to the body. There's a flurry from Walsh again now. Pushes Gratii back as he just steps in. No real endeavour there from the Moldovan.
I do like this work that Dean Walsh is doing here, Stacey. I like the body work, I like the variations. It just shows, like, you know, he's got a good amateur pedigree.
Has ambitions to win an Irish title and then move on to European and world honours, and he won't want to waste too much time at 30 years old, Dean Walsh. He'll be keen to move his way up towards his goals.
Good jab.
Will have faced all sorts of styles, so adaptability will be one of his attributes. Most comfortable at mid to long range, but developing his work on the inside now in the pros. You can see little glimpses of frustration from Walsh there, which is understandable. He's really keen to make a statement on the FightZone platform and Talk Sport as well, and sometimes it can be a bit frustrating when there are very few openings, when somebody isn't coming at you or throwing much back.
Yeah, Stacey, to be honest with you, when you look at it, you know, he's Dean Walsh, look, he's a good operator. Both is the journeyman Gratii, he's a good operator as well. But Dean, with his body shots, is opening Gratii up, which is good, and he is finding the openings. Just want to see him a little bit of more head movement by Dean and just see what can happen in this one.
This one scheduled for 6-3s then, which shows that Dean Walsh is keen to step things up. Moving up the rounds already in just his second outing, and tight guard from Gratii as he's got those elbows close to his body, perhaps indication of having felt some of those blows to the body from Walsh in the opening round. Giving very little away is Gratii.
Grati's quite seasoned, as you can tell.
Very cautious defensively, understandably, because Walsh, as soon as he gets the opportunity, up and lets his hands go. This has been good work from Walsh, and it is really difficult to show your best qualities when there's very little coming back and somebody's in there just to survive. But of course, that is the role of Gratii in this type of contest. And he's doing it well, making it difficult for Walsh to find any real openings, tucking up when he needs to.
Thought he was going to take a knee.
Ties him up just to tide the storm and simmer the heat of the attacks.
Nice body shot by Walsh. And again, another two body shots, I like that. A good reply by Gratii.
Good little cameo from Gratii with that lead hand there, body and head. Just caught the top of the head of Walsh, but had absolutely no impact whatsoever. Doesn't have the power to keep Walsh off.
I just feel Walsh can up the gear if he really wanted to.
I don't think there's a great deal more he can do here, to be honest, Max. I mean, he's throwing absolutely everything at Gratii, but he's in there to just survive, tuck up and get through the rounds. Very difficult to find any clean openings. He's doing all that he can, continuing to apply the pressure, working to body and head, loading up with the shots. I think perhaps a complaint that it was a low blow there from Gratii, but a little shake of the head to show his displeasure with that. Walsh again just trying to create openings, working down to the body again.
I like the variation by Walsh. Very, very, clean. Walsh is very clean going into these. Again, nice uppercut by Walsh. I just feel Walsh is starting to go through the gears now. He's starting to go up and up. I feel Walsh could actually get a stoppage. And I like to see Walsh get a stoppage against such a seasoned journeyman, which is quite in his capability.
Had his last win back in 2021, Octavian Gratii. That was in Germany, a points win against Yasser Yüksel. Got a draw last February as well. His record 8-75-4, and as I said before, only been stopped 3 times in those 75 losses, so he is tough and durable, the 33-year-old. But Dean Walsh, the gladiator, as he goes by, will want to add a 4th to that number of stoppages. He's desperate to do so, and he really is applying everything that he can. He's varying his shots, he's keeping up the pressure, going through the gears, and still unable to get Gratii out of there. But nice 1-2 there, but again, just slippery movement from Gratii means that they don't quite land flush, and he was turning away from them as they landed.
Nice by Walsh, nice very
good little phase there from Walsh as he pushed him against the ropes. Quick word from the referee Darren Sargentson, and then touch of gloves, back underway.
I just feel Walsh is he's got everything in his locker, Stacey. So well schooled. Really entertaining to watch. Very clean. Oh, I love this work by Walsh.
A show of fast hands there from Dean Walsh. And he's shown us a bit of everything. He's shown us those fast hands in the flurries, his work to the body and the head, and also the power that he possesses in his shots as well. None of it has amounted to being enough to get Gratii out of there so far. This one's scheduled for 6 3-minute rounds. A minute and a half remaining in the third. You can absolutely see the quality of Dean Walsh. That's not in question whatsoever.
Great quality.
Just trying to find a way to break Gratii down and get that stoppage.
Shot by Walsh.
You can see his intent. He's absolutely not there to just go through the motions and rack up the rounds. He wants to force a stoppage if he can. That's good to see from the 30-year-old, that he wants to make a statement given where he wants to go in the sport. A really good amateur background to build from in his pro career.
I do like Dean Walsh's jab. The jab sets it up. He's properly schooled. I feel Gratie's starting to feel the pace a little bit, Stacey, if I'm honest. Nice body shot by Walsh.
Lovely shot to the body, came from the backhand of Walsh and follows it up with an uppercut there as well. But Gratii really taking these shots well, very well conditioned. 22 fights last year, so that high level of activity certainly standing him in good stead. And that conditioning is what's allowed him so far to take some of these sickening body shots that from ringside, from our commentary position, you can really feel being slammed in to the sides of his body, can't you? But he's taken them well.
I'm just looking, Stacey, on Gratie's stall. He looks unfazed actually. You can tell he's a well-seasoned journeyman. I think journeymen, they do get some stick, but people like Howard, people like Dean Walsh are able to move on and develop. If you haven't got journeymen like Gratii, he's done really well in this fight. He's taken some big shots and he's coming out for the fourth, unfazed. But I think just a tiny bit was starting to feel the pace.
Into the second half of this contest then. Fourth round scheduled for 6. Business as usual continues in the same vein, with Walsh just trying to find an opening. Gratii showing no signs of fatigue yet though. He's still replying when he gets the opportunity, keeping his feet moving as well. Just riding the storms as they come, and it's wave after wave after wave from Dean Walsh. There he goes again.
I feel Gratie's on his bike a little bit now, compared to before. He's starting to be on the outside. Nice inside right by Gratii.
Throwing everything but the kitchen sink here at Gratii is Dean Walsh. Really difficult to get out of there, some of these away fighters, especially when they're as seasoned as Octavian Gratii, with the experience he's had as he lets his hands, gets a few shots off of his own. Nothing to trouble Walsh though, as he immediately fires back and pushes Gratii back into the corner. But smart work from Gratii there, just with his right hand, just tying up Dean Walsh's lead hand. Is exactly the kind of tricks that he relies on to just weather the storm when he needs to.
I felt just then there was quite a few unanswered punches by, from Dean to Gratii then. The referee was having a look, but then Gratii decided to fight back.
Just allowing his feet to go square then, Dean Walsh. Just needs to keep his feet beneath him and work from that solid base. And this is good from Gratii as well. He's willing to let his hands go when he feels it's relatively safe enough to do so. Tucking up again as Walsh just mixing up that lead hook off the backhand. Really are tough to break down, these away fighters, and Octavian Gratii embodies that, doesn't he? Well conditioned, always busy and active, faced every style going and just knows how to get through the rounds. Tough night's work, but knows how to survive the rounds.
It's what you want for someone like Dean Walsh. It's Dean Walsh's job to break him down, but Gratii, he just shows how seasoned he is. Doesn't get stopped a lot often, and even on his stall now, he's just taking it in a stride. Dean Walsh is boxing very, very well. There's a lot of variations. It's very clean work by him, up and down. So, if anything, Dean Walsh can't do a lot more apart from doing what he's doing, But can he keep this up? Always.
Into the fifth round now then. Dean Walsh, the man from Ireland, 30 years old, in his second bout as a professional. Really eager to put on a statement. He's barely let up since that first belt, but has found Gratii a really difficult man to break down. Been impressive work to the body, this from Walsh. Hasn't managed to quite take the wind out of Gratii, which perhaps is testament to his defensive nous and conditioning, but still been good work, and the intent certainly is there. It's good to see him mixing up his shots. Quality fighter, Dean Walsh. Would expect no less given that amateur pedigree and the level he's boxed at before turning pro. And perhaps we'll see the very best of Dean Walsh when he's in with a fighter who's willing to trade, because that's of course when you can beat your most vulnerable, and a fighter like Dean Walsh can find those little gaps and exploit them. No gaps to be had here though against Gratii. He will let his hands go when he feels like he's in a position to do so, but otherwise tucks up and defends himself well. There you see, he lets his hands go when he feels able to. If Dean Walsh could just find a little gap whilst Gratii's letting his hands go at that close range, perhaps that could be a telling shot. And make no mistake, this is a hard night's work for Gratii, but still doing his job well. And making Dean Walsh work for every inch. This is a good exchange between the two of them. Can't really ask any more of Dean Walsh. He's mixed up his shots, he's mixed up the flow and the intensity, he's loaded up with his shots, he's gone to the body, gone to the head, thrown all the shots in his arsenal. You certainly can't ask any more of him, I don't think. Perhaps just a couple of things you might adjust, but generally really sound, solid, good all-round performance from him. He just happens to be in there with a very, very durable opponent. And completely different to his debut in December, Max, where he put his opponent down 4 times before stopping him in the first round.
Is it the question of that, you know, his opponent is a lot better, it's stepped up, and Gratii's a little bit, you know, more seasoned? Because you can't fault by Dean Walsh's performance here. Dean Walsh is variations. He's done everything punch perfect. If I was in his corner, again, as we're seeing now, 1-2s down the pipe, and again, keeping that jab pouring out. Yeah, he got caught there, but on average, per round, he's been very good. I can't fault Dean Walsh. I'd be happy if I was in his corner. Last round.
3 minutes remain then for Dean Walsh to try and force a stoppage here. I don't think he needs to put too much pressure on himself to do so, because this has been a really good performance from him where he has been able to demonstrate his quality, perhaps not been able to showcase his skill set as he would be able to against somebody who's in there to try and win, of course, but absolutely no doubt about the quality that he possesses. But he'll want to, of course, continue with the momentum he's built in the first 5 rounds and finish strong in this 6th and final round, with or without a stoppage. He seems to have not been quite as frustrated now, Max, as he looked in those. He cut a frustrated figure in the opening couple of rounds. Now he's relaxing a bit more and enjoying his work, perhaps.
I think it's more Gratii staying away from danger, moving a little bit more on the outside, especially in the 4th round. But this is a very dominant performance by Dean here. You know, he's doing everything really right. You know, straight down the pipes, 1-2 just now, and it's nice to see really good clean work. And he's just having a look. There's plenty of head movement, not staying on that same line. And some stuff to the body. I'd be very, very impressed if I was his corner. I'm very happy. Because you don't get a knockdown in a fight, it doesn't mean it's a bad performance. But, you know, he's done very good, clean work throughout this fight.
And arguably he needs these rounds, because that's the way you've got to look at it. You know, he had his man down 4 times and it was a first round stoppage. He's not going to get a great deal from that, although it looks good on the show reel and it looks good on your record, but very little learning and development. This fight, yes, he'll have taken far more from.
Yes, and because he hasn't stopped to opponent, yeah, these are rounds, these are conditioning rounds that Dean needs of his calibre. But he's boxed throughout very well and consistent, so you can't really argue with his performance styles.
And couldn't really have asked more of his son Donald Walsh, and also Jimmy Payne and his son David Payne in the corner. I'm sure we'll be happy with the way that Dean Walsh has gone about his business tonight, because this has been a really good all-round performance from a quality fighter who will want to be moving up the levels in competition as rapidly as possible. But huge credit must go to Octavian Gratii, who has let his hands go when he's been able to and ridden every single storm that the gladiator Dean Walsh has thrown at him, and a really good performance from the Irishman, Max.
Yes, a very good performance, and to be honest, I think he got every round, and it's, you know, is it a dominant performance? Done everything right. I mean, Stacey, is not many criticisms you can pick up from that performance, can you?
Seeing some of the action from that one, and the ring in front of us, nice show of respect between the two fighters just a moment ago, as is often the case. And now both men making their way to the centre of the ring with referee Darren Sargentson as we get the official announcement from our MC Craig Denholm.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, bout number 3, please show your appreciation for both boxers. So, ladies and gentlemen, A-star referee Mr. Darren Sargentson scores the bout 60-54 in favour of your winner. To Dean Walsh in the blue corner, the red corner.
So, no surprise there, 60-54, and he could not have done more. I mean, some of those rounds were just a complete and total shutout, weren't they? I mean, a really good performance from Dean Walsh, who did everything he could have done in with a very durable opponent.
Yeah, it was a great performance by Dean. He showed everything. He's got, to be fair, every fundamental in the locker. What can you say or do to improve that? You know, it's almost I wouldn't say, you can't say punch perfect, but it's as good as perfect you can get as it gets a very, very well-seasoned journeyman.
Well, just having the obligatory photos with his team. They brought a great team over from Ireland. Plenty more to come from them this evening. Without further ado, we'll hear from Dean Walsh now at ringside in just a moment. Dean, I mean, I know you will have wanted a stoppage there, but you couldn't have thrown anything more at him. He was really tough and durable. Polar opposite, really, to the man that you faced on your debut, but surely will have taken a lot more from tonight.
Yeah, I think we were stuck to the plan, me and Jimmy. I was a bit kind of on my toes a bit too much in the first round. But I think in the second and third round I caught him. So I was a bit more patient. I probably could have slapped him. But he's tough, you know, he knows how to hold on when he has to hold on. But he's a tough man, like, you know. Then obviously it's my first 6. I'm sparring 8 and 10 rounds and 12 rounds and stuff like that. But when you go to fight, it's different. So it's my first 6 round fight. But I thought I'd done an okay count of myself, you know. I've done some, like my jab was good today. I'm trying to kind of, if I was just be a bit more different, my shots to the body, he was trying to be able to read him throughout the rounds. But I think overall it was good. I was happy with the performance.
You looked a little bit frustrated in the opening couple of rounds, but then seemed to settle into it and enjoy it.
Oh yeah, look, that's what it's all about. I actually caught me in the third round. I was like, fuck, it's fucking punch a small bit.
Apologies for the language, but yeah, he did catch you, and fair play to him. He was willing to let his hands go when he felt safe to do so.
He kind of knows when to come and fight. He doesn't show much, but he's very good at blocking shots. You know, I don't think he's being stopped. He spots top guys, like, so. For my second fight, it's a big step up. This be a fella that you look for maybe in your 6, 7, 8 fight.
Well, that's testament to your ambition, your great amateur pedigree, of course, bringing to the pros. But I know you've got big goals. You're 30 years old. You'll want to move on rapidly. What's the plan for this year?
My plan for this year is probably getting another 3 or 4 fights behind me. Just stepping up to maybe. I've got the 6 rounds now, so maybe my next fight, Jimmy, we'll go 8. But definitely 6 or 8 rounds. And hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have a shot at an Irish title or Kelly title, and we go from there. Because I think that I am the best in Ireland, and I have a lot to offer. You know, I just missed out on the Olympic Games for Rio, Tokyo, and the Paris Games. So I have a chance now. I'm boxing better than ever, I think, and I'm enjoying training with Jimmy. So massive thanks to him and my father, and people who work for my sponsors, all my sponsors, and everyone back in the village as well.
It's a great start to your pro career. Speaking of Ireland, I'm sure there's plenty of your family, friends, supporters watching. Do you want to give them a shout out?
Yeah, just a massive thanks to my family, my friends, the people of Wolfone, people of Waterford as well. I've grew a big family down there, Jimmy's family, stuff like that. So massive thanks to the boys in the Dacia, Wexford, people who are not here as well to be happy, you know. So massive thank you.
Well done. Hope to see you on FightZone again. Safe trip home. Thanks. Enjoy the evening. Well done.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there will be an after party to the show in the casino next door. So there is an after show, so please make your way there afterwards. Should be an absolute fantastic follow-up to this fantastic event. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to bout number 4. This is 4 rounds in the super welterweight division. Introducing to the ring your blue corner. Give it up to the Roadrunner, Sam Kirk. And ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, your red corner, give it up for Dylan Trevor!
Well, you can hear that the crowd have certainly gone up a notch. Great support here for Dylan Tricky Trevor from Sheffield, making his debut. What a special moment for the man from Sheffield, who says, when describing his style, it's all in the name, Tricky Trevor. Had a 50-50 record in the amateurs and boxed some top amateurs as well. And he's chosen this colour, bright orange, that all his supporters have got on, and his cornermen, because it's his nephew's and his favourite colour. 4-year-old Ollie, his nephew, who will be watching tonight and supporting his uncle. And he says it also helps him spot his supporters in the crowd, and you certainly can spot them. You could spot them in the queue outside and here inside Skate Central in the bright orange. Let's see if he can put on an equally dazzling performance.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is 4 rounds in the super welterweight division. The contest is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control and your representative, Mr. Alan Ulster. Your timekeeper is Mr. Chris Hancock of Doncaster. Your referee, Mr. Mark Downing of Sheffield. And your judge scoring the contest, A-star Michael Alexander. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing your boxers, and firstly, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the black shorts, hailing from Doncaster in his 12th bout as a professional. Give it up for the Roadrunner, Sam Kirk! And ladies and gentlemen, across the ring, his opponent boxing out of the red corner. We're in the orange and black. Making his professional debut, weighing 11 stone 3 ounces. Give it up for Dylan Tricky Trevor!
Well, he wanted to be able to spot his supporters in the crowd in the bright orange. And not only can you see them, but you can hear them as well. Really exciting occasion, of course. A professional debut. And here we get underway with the professional career of Dylan Tricky Trevor from Sheffield. Making his debut in his home city, fights out of the Titans gym. Under coach John Fuchs. A good sparring with his stablemates, Mason Dickinson, who we saw earlier, Mikey Harrison, who we'll see tonight as well. Says he lives in the gym and he's waited a long time for this opportunity. His childhood dream since being 9 years old has been to become a professional boxer. Says he has the mindset to go as far as he can. Initially aims for a central area title and then see where he can go on from there. But he will want to put on a statement tonight. Sam Kirk, the Roadrunner, 30-year-old from Doncaster, not had far to come tonight. Just 11 fights. Made his debut just last February against Dom Hunt in Barnsley. A points loss, that one was. 1 stoppage of his 10 losses. And had a busy first year as a pro last year with 11 fights. This is first of 2025 though. Good work from Dylan Trevor in the orange and black shorts. Sam Kirk in the all black shorts. Was tentative with that jab, Sam Kirk. Manages to connect the second time of asking. Trevor just feinting, but Kirk not responding to those feints. Doesn't look like he has any intention of doing so either. Happy just to tuck up and let Trevor feint on the outside. Lead hand to the body from Kirk. Same in kind from Trevor. Pushes him back up against the ropes now. A lot of nervous energy in this first round, as you would expect, and important not to play to the crowd too much, as difficult as it is, because of course all that adrenaline and excitement, and the crowd really, really loud when he entered the arena, which was brilliant to hear. But he's got to channel all that now and settle and focus on the job at hand, and that's good. Double jab from Trevor. Follows it up with the backhand. Can he trap Kirk in the corner, as Kirk just shifting from corner to corner, finds himself in the southpaw stance momentarily. Trevor just happy to work at that long to mid range. Not seen anything up close from him just yet, but he's worked effectively from behind that jab and those long backhands so far. And a good opening round, Max, and the important thing there, just settling the nerves, focusing on the fundamentals and getting the first round as a professional under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's got a lot of support tonight. He's on his debut. It's a lot to expect from him. So, let's see him ease into the fight and just gently, nothing silly, keep the fundamentals there, and he'll be okay. You can't do everything on your debut, and we can see there's so much orange around us.
Well, supporters really enjoying this, and just to our right from our commentary position here, you can see one of his supporters decked out in that bright orange, as they all are, holding aloft a sign that says Tricky Trevor, of course the nickname of Dylan Trevor, and they are having an absolute ball in here tonight, and rightly so, as they cheer their mate on, making his pro debut in his home city. round 2, and you'd expect now Dylan Trevor, having settled and got that first round under his belt and perhaps calmed some of those nerves, to start to go through the gears and show us what he's capable of here. Nice sharp work from Trevor, plenty of head movement. It's just feinting. That's better from him. There's no point feinting at that distance because it's not having any impact on Sam Kirk. It's needs to feint and then go if he's going to try and use it. And all that movement isn't really causing Sam Kirk too many problems at the moment. He's taking his time. Trevor takes one there though. Needs to just make sure when he's in range.
I did
he's
like
got that tight guard. If he's
that pivot there, that was really good, Stacey. Sorry, just cut you off. This is where he got caught. Then he just twisted and pivot and and just replied back. So that was quite good by Trevor.
Oh, he wobbled Sam Kirk there. He really felt that one. His legs stiffened.
Yeah.
And his legs went wobbly.
Yeah.
He really felt that one, but he seems to have managed to recompose himself.
I just feel
Trevor though wasn't getting greedy. He was sensible there. He stepped back and got back behind his jab.
Feel Trevor, if he puts it on him.
Definitely troubled Sam Kirk there though.
Nice
got to be careful here, Sam Kirk. Heavy hands from Trevor. Crowd getting behind him now. He's got a bounce in his step. He knows that he can hurt Kirk. Inside the final minute of the second. This one's scheduled for 4 threes.
Nice jab.
Good work to the body from Trevor, and he felt that one, Sam Kirk. It's been a tough round for Kirk. Remember, only been a professional himself for a year, although he's racked up 11 contests, relatively inexperienced. And he certainly felt the power of Trevor in this round. And that was good work from Trevor.
Yeah, do you know what, Stacey? He's not wasting any shots. You find sometimes Davidsons, they sometimes do a little bit too much. And, he just did his shots very selective, maybe cautiously, but that's understandable. It's his debut. And he definitely wobbled Sam Kirk early on in that round. I felt he could follow up and maybe go for it, but that's, look, it's his debut. And it's good. Like we see now, he did get caught in that round. And I just want to see that. That's the wobble.
And now just before that, as we saw on the replay, he did take a decent shot from Sam Kirk, which rocked his head back, and sometimes that's just a little reminder to stay switched on. And of course, as we saw there, that backhand from Dylan Trevor doing the damage and just rocking Sam Kirk. So we'll just want to be a little more cautious going into this third round. The man from Doncaster has another fight scheduled for next week at the Magna Centre in Rotherham, so he won't want any stoppages, missing that payday next week. So important for him just to be defensively switched on here. Trevor again, just those twitchy upper body movements. Good work to the body again. Well conditioned Sam Kirk, but anybody who's taken one of those shots right to the solar plexus, you do feel them. Sometimes not immediate effect, but certainly when you try and take a breath in, it takes the wind from you. Smart work from Trevor, working to the body as he's just posturing again, trying to fashion an opening and elicit some sort of response from Kirk. That's good work, down to the body with the left and then up top with the backhand from Trevor. He's really patient with his work. This is what's been impressive, given all of that adrenaline that will be flooding through his veins for his pro debut and this huge support he's got with him. Be easy to get carried away, but he hasn't been greedy when he's had success. He's stuck to the basics and he's been patient with each attack. He's been considered and precise as we see that backhand slam into the midriff of Sam Kirk once again.
He's been very selective with his shots. You know, he hasn't got carried away, and they've been accurate shots. So you can't, fault him. You can't fault Tricky Trev here.
Had over 20 amateur and senior bouts as an amateur, all with the same coach that is now turned pro with, John Fuchs. So good to have that consistency for him as he develops. Falls short with a rather wild backhand there, but back behind his jab. Good work again as he just pushes Kirk up against the ropes and has success with that lead hand. It's been a good round for Sam Kirk this though, because he's had to be switched on defensively, having taken a couple of big shots, that backhand in particular in the third round, which made his legs betray him. Went from beneath him for just a moment, but he didn't panic and gathered himself really well from that, and this has been a good third round from him as Trevor continuing to apply the pressure. And it is considered intelligent pressure, isn't it, in small but effective doses?
Yeah, this Tricky Trev, he's done very well throughout the rounds. So being consistent, it's I always tell you about clean work. I like to see clean work, and he's been reasonably sound defensively. So it's been interesting what's going to happen in this last round. It'd be good to see a stoppage, but if he doesn't see a stoppage, it's not the end of the world. It's still, so far, a good debut.
Of course, Sam Kirk won't want to see a stoppage. He's due to be out next week in Rotherham, so he may have to live up to his name in this one. He goes by the Roadrunner, and he might want to do a little bit more of that in this final round to ensure that he's able to make that payday next week. But Dylan, Tricky Trevor will surely have something to say about that, as the crowd have really been behind him every second from the moment he stepped out this evening, which has been great to see. And if that support can get behind him throughout his journey, that'll serve him well for sure. Lots of head movement and jerky feints from Trevor. We've seen glimpses of his power. Can he make it count in this fourth and final round? Really good debut performance from him so far. Dictates the range and the distance and the pace really well, does Dylan Trevor. And of course, Sam Kirk won't be that interested in disrupting that pace and distance, but still, good stuff from Trevor in that regard. Good exchanges from both there, letting the hands go. But straight back behind the jab from Trevor, and as soon as there's been an exchange, gets his feet beneath him, sets himself again. Good habits to get in for him.
He's got good feet, Stacey. I'm just looking at it now. Very good feet when he comes out of a combination.
into the final minute then of the fourth and final round. And again, want to credit Sam Kirk here, because only been a professional for a year, and he did have to ride a storm, and he took a big shot in the second, but didn't panic and gathered himself, and has made this competitive for Dylan Trevor. And this has been great matchmaking for his debut, I feel, because there's been enough of a test and enough learning, but he's been able to showcase his abilities as well, which is arguably what you want on your debut, and he's looked good doing it as well. Takes a shot there from Kirk though, but able to reply with a counter, and that nice work to the body as well that we've seen. Good backhand there from Trevor, and good to see that straight after he landed the backhand, a defensive manoeuvre. Again, good habits that he's showing. Good backhand there. Sam Kirk just tucking up as he comes forward. A really good debut from Dylan Trevor, and he'll be absolutely delighted to get the win, but also to put on a performance like that in front of what was a really, really vociferous crowd who were passionately supporting the man from Sheffield.
Yeah, I do definitely agree. He did very well. Decent, very good performance, and he didn't waste any shots. So, if I'm honest, he just needs to keep that sort of level up. They're very clean work. Did get caught a couple of times, like we just seen, but you know, it's learning for him, and very good matchmaking, like you said, Stacey.
Yeah, plenty of good, solid habits that is already in there on a debut that will have been filled with nerves and adrenaline. And it's difficult to explain just what those nerves are like on your debut, and just how much it affects your breathing and your energy levels, but he coped with all of that really well and has boxed his way to an impressive performance on his debut. Let's get the official announcement from our
ladies
MC.
And gentlemen, contest number 4, please show your appreciation for both boxers. So ladies and gentlemen, your judge, A-star Michael Alexander, scores the bout 40-36 in favour of your winner, and still undefeated, it's Dylan Tricky Trevor! Boxing out of the red corner.
So a win on his debut, unanimous decision for Dylan Trevor, and that, I'm sure, is one that not only all of his supporters in Skate Central here in Sheffield tonight will enjoy, but also his nephew Ollie, who's 4 years old, and the reason for this bright orange kit, because that's his and his uncle Dylan's favourite colour, and I'm sure he'll be very proud of his uncle following that performance. And we'll be speaking to Dylan ringside in just a moment.
So ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, there is an after show party after the show, and that will be in the casino.
Dylan Tricky Trevor, before we talk about your performance tonight, what a welcome you got from these incredible supporters who have been behind you every single second from the moment you walked out here. Describe to me that feeling of walking out in your home city in front of all your supporters.
I can't explain it. It's overwhelming. Like, it's my dream to just be in there. I've always just wanted to be a professional boxer. That's my lifetime dream. I just want to say thank you to every single person, every fan, every person at home, all my friends, family, obviously my corner, John, the main man, Graham, all of them, all my team, all my sponsors, Cotton Arcade, Camerada, South East Sheffield Photography, and Northern Recovery. I wouldn't be able to do it without them, so I just want to thank everyone first. Thank you.
Absolutely, and rightly so. In terms of your performance then, there's all the nerves and the adrenaline to deal with, but you were really smart how you went about your work. Were you happy with that performance?
I'm happy with it, definitely. I think I'm capable of a lot more, to be honest, a lot better. I kind of lost the little bit of trickiness in the last round. Obviously, my round I still, but I kind of let him forward a little bit, and my game's,
You wobbled him in the second with a backhand, but didn't get greedy, you were sensible and composed.
Definitely. That's, I've been listening to, the corner team, don't get greedy, because that's when you do get caught. Sharpness catches it, not looking for it. So the experienced team that I've got, I can't thank people enough. I won't be able to do it.
Well, you've got incredible support in here. You did say you picked this colour so that you could see them.
Yeah.
You could see them and hear them, but I know there's a special young man, your nephew Ollie, who's just 4 years old, who'll be watching.
Hello,
Must be
Ollie.
So proud of you tonight.
That's it, he's my little boy. Picked my colours, orange for Ollie. My boy.
You've made him proud, and all of your supporters here. Really, really good debut. What a moment for you. Enjoy it, and we'll look forward to seeing you back out again.
Thank you so much, I really do appreciate
Well done.
it. Thank you so
Well
much.
done.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to contest number 5. This is 4 rounds in the cruiserweight division. Introducing to the ring, your blue corner, give it up for Marcin Prostko.
Boy Marcin Prostko then. No wins so far of his 10 professional outings, 8 losses and 2 draws, one of which was against his opponent this evening. This a rematch of that fight last year. Hails from Poland but lives in Wakefield, the 38-year-old. Faced a few familiar names on FightZone, but tonight back in against a man who he got a draw against last October.
And ladies and gentlemen, introducing your red corner, give it up for Brendan the Nightman Needham!
Here he comes then, Brendan the Nightmare Needham. 3 wins, 1 draw, which came against the man in the opposing corner tonight. Last June, the 28-year-old cruiserweight was hugely disappointed that night, stormed out of the ring, didn't even want to do a ringside interview, so I'm sure this rematch has been on his mind ever since, and he'll want to put that wrong right.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is our bout number 5, which is 4 rounds in the cruiserweight division. The contest is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, and your area representative is Mr. Alan Ulster. Your timekeeper, Mr. Pete Humphrey of Doncaster, and your referee, Mr. Mark Downing of Sheffield. Your judge is A-star Darren Surgeson of Manchester. And ladies and gentlemen, introducing your boxers. Firstly, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the gold and red, hailing from Wakefield, making his 11th appearance as a professional, weighing 14 stone, 2 pound and 2 ounces. Give it up for Marcin, Bad Boy Prostko! And ladies and gentlemen, across the ring, his opponent boxing out of the red corner, wearing the white and blue, hailing from Sheffield, with a professional record of 3 wins and 1 draw, weighing 14 stone, 6 pound and 4 ounces. Give it up for Brendan, the Nightmare Needham!
So repeat or revenge. The tension obvious between these 2 men who faced one another last year. It ended in a draw. Brendan Needham, it was his only fight last year, and he will have gone to bed at night with this man on his mind, and woken up with him on his mind, and worked and worked and worked to put it right this evening. He was absolutely furious after that draw last year. Went storming into the changing rooms, and of course sometimes emotions can run high, but they want to control them this evening and channel all of that into the best possible performance. 28 years old, the cruiserweight from Sheffield. He's in the white and blue shorts. Marcin Prostko, always in excellent condition. The Pole, 38 years old, lives in Wakefield. Not vastly experienced, he's only had 10, but of his 8 losses, 4 have come by stoppage, so he is vulnerable, but of course a reminder that at this weight, there's an enormous amount of weight behind the shots, so understandable. He's yet to register a win though, and perhaps he might fancy this one tonight, having achieved a draw last time out. Boxed just a couple of weeks ago against Dan Garber in Bradford. Had just 2 bouts in 2023, but a busy 2024. He had 7 fights last year. Of course, Brendan Needham just had the 1. Whether that'll affect things, that lack of activity, who knows, but good lead hand finishing that exchange from Needham, and he's made his intentions clear here that he doesn't want to leave it to chance to risk another draw this time, and might want to ensure it doesn't even go to the final bell and get his man out of there just to make absolutely certain. Good counter with the backhand from Needham. Didn't get full purchase on it, but when he follows up, he wobbles Prostko in that corner, and he was in trouble just for a moment there. Turns into the southpaw stance. Misses by a wide margin with that backhand, back into the orthodox stance. Has to just take a couple from Prostko, but putting his shots together nicely in these combinations here is Needham. And you can tell he cuts a very different figure to the one we saw last June. Wasting no time in setting about Prostko. He will want to make absolutely sure that he gets a different result this time out. Heavy shots those coming in from Brendan Needham. He's scheduled to fight on the UK versus USA show, the Battle of the Bridge on April 4th. What an occasion that's going to be. He'll be facing the American cruiserweight Corey McIntosh. So tonight, a really, really important fight for him. Not only to build up to that one, but mentally to exercise the demons which will have been running through his very veins since last June, Max.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I saw Brendan that night, he was absolutely fuming with himself. But, you know, we've just seen he's a bit of wild swings he's having a go at Marcin here. And I think he's not letting it to chance, like you keep saying, Stacey. A very convincing, good start and first round by Brendan. Really good to watch.
And when he put him under pressure, as you saw in the replays there, he was at 6s and 7s, Prostko. Didn't have his feet beneath him. Feet were square on the ropes. He is vulnerable.
Yeah.
And you do feel that if Brendan Needham can continue to apply the pressure and put those combinations together, there's every chance he can get Prostko out of there. And he's a hard hitter himself, Prostko, and he's a tough man. But you can see a way that Brendan Needham could stop this one early. Nice relaxed upper body from Needham as he's just trying to goad Prostko so that hopefully he can counter. He is an effective counter puncher, is Needham, but obviously needs Prostko to show him something in order to do that. Nice work with the backhand, but Prostko took it well. Fired back a few of his own. Not a great deal in them though, mostly arm shots. Didn't really generate any power from the legs as he let those go. Needham just edging in. Leading off with that lead hand, straight shots there from Needham. Clubbing type of power Needham possesses. It's not that sort of sharp, explosive power, but they are thudding sledgehammer type shots. And you just feel if he can find the opening, Prostko will go. Wobbled him there again a little, pushes him back. Needs to just step back and make space for his work here, Needham. And Prostko, smart work just tying Needham up. Could just do with a few cleaner shots here, Needham. But this is a much, much, much better performance from the man from Sheffield in comparison to that draw last June. You can't sleep on Prostko, just like you can't with any cruiserweights, because lovely uppercut from him there, and there we saw that counter punching and another backhand as well as he pushes him up, gets him into the corner, but then they end up in a tangle. Again, just needs to step back and allow the space to let his shots go. Prostko feeling this now as his mouth gaping open, trying to get as much air in as he can, and Needham marauding forward and loading up with those shots, pushing Prostko back, and these shots absolutely starting to take their toll on Prostko. And Needham doing exactly what he needed to do, is put Prostko under pressure, use his power and cause some damage. This is exactly what he needed to do, Max.
Yeah, look, Brendan is good, puncher, and like you said, a counter puncher. But, like we said, we've just seen that time, he was waiting. He was just looking, dipped down, and he come up with an uppercut, and it started it off. I just feel it's, there's Marcin, he's there for the taking if Brendan chooses to. and I think he's in the mood tonight, Brendan, to get this stopped.
This scheduled for 4 threes as we enter the third. Whether we'll hear the final bell remains to be seen, because Brendan Needham has ploughed forward with some heavy shots in the opening 2 rounds, and they've wobbled Prostko, but he's showing that he's not here to be blasted out of there and giving as good as he gets in that exchange. His feet not quite beneath him though, Prostko. As soon as Brendan Needham pushes him back, his feet go square, and that makes him very vulnerable. Just needs to adjust his feet and keep them beneath him to keep that solid base. He's skipping round the edges of the canvas, Prostko, to try and evade these attacks from Needham. And when he gets in range and lets his hands go, and especially when he's accurate, he's connected with some big shots, and Prostko's taken them well so far, but you do feel any moment there's another one coming, as Needham just stalking his man, trying to create an opening.
I can see Marcin
He's trying to goad him into letting his shots go so that he can respond. Another good backhand there, and that is a vulnerable area for Prostko. Sometimes leaving the left side of his head exposed with that low lead hand, and Needham has allowed that backhand to find a home on a couple of occasions. The crowd all pushed up against the barriers here, absolutely loving this one, and they will know exactly how much that draw hurt Brendan Needham and how much he wants this one, and he's showing it in there. Sometimes getting a little bit too eager and spoiling his own work, but no doubt having the best of this, and Prostko just limited to cameo roles here as Brendan Needham continues to apply the pressure. Doesn't look too problematic, that what perhaps we could call a nick above the right eye of Prostko. Can't ascertain what that came from, maybe a clash of heads or a punch, but not running into his eye, so shouldn't be too problematic for him, as Needham just falling short there and taking a shot from Prostko. He works to the body of Needham, and Prostko seems to have the bit between his teeth here, but Needham replying in kind and catches him on the back foot there as he was stepping away, but Prostko again managing to tie him up. 20 seconds remaining in this third round. Needham certainly looks in far better condition. Seemed to struggle with the pace of it last time and gas out, but not this time. He's been able to continue to apply the pressure so far in these first 3 rounds. And that's a big difference as well, that the fitness level's much better this time from Needham, and the approach as well, that he's been willing to step on the gas and really put it on Prostko from that opening bell.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Stacey, it's like you're just saying, you know, he's getting his shots right, and he's really intent. You can tell he's a little bit, I don't know, angry in some ways, and I don't blame him. And you know, he's really good tonight, Brendan, and he's. Do you know what? It's sometimes he's mentally, and you know, with people like Brendan, and look, Brendan, we can just see he's just hunting. It's just going to take that shot, or maybe multitude of a couple of shots, to finish Marcin Kostka. So we'll see. Like to see, like, you know, a real finisher here. I think it's there for the taking.
Of course, the most important thing for Brendan Needham tonight is to get that win, to avenge what he saw as a massively disappointing draw. And he's got the first 3 rounds in the bag, so no need to be too reckless here. Just needs to win this round and he'll have a clean sweep. Doesn't want to get too eager and focused on a stoppage, because the win is the main thing. Of course, April 4th He faces cruiserweight, the American Corey McIntosh in the Battle of the Bridge, so also doesn't want to risk any cuts or anything, any injuries to his hands that could cause a problem with that big night. Of course, just a matter of weeks away. So important for him to be sensible here and get the job done in good fashion, but with a slight air of caution as well. He's done the hard yards here, just this final round to see out. Doesn't need to take any risks as Prostko just marauding forward. Just leaning on Needham. Just needs to take a step back and make space for those shots, Needham. A little bit of fatigue creeping in for both fighters now as they breathe in heavily and leaning on one another. Back to work though. Prostko putting some good combinations together here and showing good conditioning and fighting spirit. Needham responds though. Wild swing with that left hand, but the first one connected. Minute and a half remaining. Good intensity in this final round from these two. Good head movement from Needham and then managed to find a way through for that backhand uppercut. Leaning on one another far more frequently now, and that's a sign of the tiredness that's creeping in, but they've invested an awful lot in the first 3 rounds, the two of them, as Prostko continuing to work here, and this is good from him. Just finding a few reserves in the tank to push forward and take it to Needham. Final minute now. Can Needham muster that last bit of energy? A lovely backhand from him connects. Prostko walked right onto that one, but took it well because he had his feet beneath him on that occasion. Just arm shots from Prostko, not a great deal in them, so Needham able to absorb them and set himself once again. Final 30 seconds. What can Needham muster to finish strong here? This is the contest that will have been on his mind for months and months and months since last June. He was furious after that draw. He's worked hard and it shows, and he's deserved this victory. It's all that will have mattered to him to get back in here and avenge that draw, and he has done that, and in good fashion as well. He put some really good combinations together. He had Prostko wobbled on a number of occasions, and that was a really, really important win for the man from Sheffield, given how much it affected him after that draw last year, and given what lies ahead in the Battle of the Bridge. What an important win, and what an important performance to have under his belt tonight.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, Brendan, he's just been in all 4 rounds, sorry, and he's been there, he's been in it, and he's really took this fight right on, and it's hard to come over like the last one mentally. So, you know, he's overcome this very well, but, you know, I'd just like to see him just plough forward and just move on now and start making strides going forward now from now on. So good win for Brendan, I think.
Certainly was. Let's get the official announcement from our MC.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for both boxers. So, ladies and gentlemen, A-star judge Darren Surgenson scores the bout 39-37 to your winner, Brendan the Nightman Needham.
And the crowd
a round of applause once again there to both corner
because this will mean an awful lot to Brendan Needham, and the people here to support him will know just how hard he took that draw last June and what this win means to him, and hopefully we'll be able to get a word with him this time. Last time emotions were running high, but this time I'm sure we'll have a much happier Brendan Needham, who will have been having nightmares about that draw, but has turned it around, and now he can celebrate as he has a nice moment with his supporters. and with his corner and his family in the ring, which is great to see because he's earned this and he will have had to work for this, not just physically but mentally, Max.
Yeah, this is overcome mentally and it's fair play. Very well good and well done by Brendan. To be honest, Brendan can achieve really good things. It's just mentally and physically he's got to be there. He's got the tools in the box. I'd just like to see him plough on, knuckle down, and a little bit more activity. And you know, Brendan can achieve great things, I think, in my opinion.
Brendan, you called the nightmare Needham. I'm sure it's been a nightmare since last year. You were furious after that draw last year. It takes a lot mentally to come back from that, not just physically and going back to basics in the gym. How difficult has it been to get to the point where you can put on a performance like that tonight?
Yeah, I've been through.
Let me just explain. Been through a lot of things last year. Just before the last fight, we found out that his wife didn't want to be with him anymore and she'd started divorcing him. So to fight when he did, realistically, he shouldn't have fought. We should have cancelled it, but him being him, he wanted to fight. So in all fights that we've ever had, in boxing, kickboxing, everything, he's never backed out anything. But this one, he needed to come and show just exactly what he is. There's been a lot of doubters, a lot of people thinking that he shouldn't have come from kickboxing scene, couldn't have come from bare knuckle scene because they can't box. Well, the first 3 rounds there, I think we've proved that somebody from kickboxing team can box and can come along and upset people, because them first 3 rounds was absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, like a completely different fighter this time, which is testament to the work that you've put in the gym, but also mentally as well, because it was a difficult one to come back from. How did you feel in there tonight? You looked really, really good.
Yeah, I felt good. Just, you know, I had that in the back of my head that it needed resurrecting this draw, and you know, it's more nerves than hope. But you know, you got to be nervous because you care about something. But I wanted this so much, and just to get them. I mean, listen, we're not going to move mountains overnight, but it just wants to get all the demons that I had last year. And it's been a long camp, 11 months camp, mentally and physically. And I just wanted it so much. Whichever way I did it, you know, if I knocked him out in 3rd, knocked him out in 4, went to the decision, I just wanted it badly, just to prove to myself more than anything.
Well, you could see how much you wanted it and how much the supporters in here wanted it, and they obviously knew what that meant to you. And a really important win, not just to avenge that draw from last year, but obviously to put things right, to start the year well, and of course, Battle of the Bridge coming up as well. So really important to take the confidence from tonight into April.
You're asking me a question?
Important to have that confidence.
Absolutely. Brendan's got ability to burn, and he's got a great team around him. And the one thing that you'll know these days is it's all about believing in yourself. And the one thing that Brendan don't do, and it's crazy, you look at him, why doesn't he believe in himself? Well, he's got rid of a demon tonight, a kid who gave him a bit of trouble because he wasn't there on the night mentally, and he's got rid of that demon, so we move on now. Brendan will trouble a lot of people in the top 10 in this cruiserweight division. He's got ability to burn. He can fight. He can box. He's done MMA. He's done BKB. But like, he's 27 years old. At this level, at this weight category, is a baby, and it just so happens he's my pal. So it means so much more to me for us to manoeuvre him into title contention, and he's got the ability. The only thing that frustrates me, I've been in this game 30 odd years, almost as long as what you have, Stacey. That it frustrates me that he doesn't believe in himself as much as he should do. But and listening to people like you who's got all the experience in the world, that's our job to get him there.
It certainly is. The mental aspect of sport is often the toughest but can be the most important. Finally then, how much are you looking forward to Battle of the Bridge? What a night that's going to be.
Yeah, now I've done this, I mean, this was my world title fight, you know, because I want it so badly, just to prove it to myself I could do it. And now if I could do this one, I could do all the rest of them. So now I'm looking forward to that one nights, you know, and I'm looking forward to it. There's another thing, I want to thank everyone that's come to support me, who supported me over the last 11 months. People who know me properly knows what I've been through and have been here for me. Some people aren't, but they're not in my life no more, so listen, onwards and upwards, but listen, I've had mega support from everyone. Even Dennis, my coaches, my dad, my mum, sorry. Everybody, Steve who's not here today, everybody, thank you so much for believing in me and sticking with me.
Well, listen, well done for what you've overcome out of the ring, but a really, really good performance that hopefully you can take the confidence forward from tonight. Well done. Go and enjoy it with all your supporters, and we'll see you in April.
Thank you.
Well done.
And I'll be there.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to contest number 6. It's 4 rounds in the light heavyweight division. Introducing your blue corner to the ring. Give it up for Harry Matthews.
Harry Matthews then, 37-year-old from Yorkshire, the Pocklington Rocket. Very experienced with 116 fights. Started out life as a prospect and was in line for the Central Area title, but that didn't transpire. Has gone the distance with Chris Eubank Jr. though, many moons ago in 2012. He's an aspiring actor, but tonight, of course, playing the role of boxer, as he did in a Netflix series last year where he played Roy Barber.
And ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring, the red corner, give it up for Mikey, the Lord Harrison.
So we have aspiring actor Harry Matthews in the blue corner, but facing him is Mikey Harrison, and he'll want to rip up the script. 2 fights, 2 wins, just 21 years old, the man from Sheffield. Made his debut here at Skate Central. Boxes out of the Titans gym in Gleedless, Sheffield. Always gets a great reception from his supporters. John Fuchs, Graham Dickinson in his corner, and also Tommy Frank, Lee Edwards. Made his debut against Victor Adega here at Skate Central in July last year. Back here in October with another points win against High Sendoff, and he'll be wanting to add that, a 3rd win tonight in Sheffield.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is 4 rounds in the light heavyweight division. The contest sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control and your area representative, Mr. Alan Ulster. Your timekeeper, Mr. Chris Hancock of Doncaster, and your referee, Mr. Mark Downing of Sheffield. Your judge, A-star, Mr. Michael Alexander. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing your boxers. Firstly, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the old black with red. Making his 117th appearance and weighing 13 stone, 2 pound and 4 ounce, hailing from Pocklington, York. Give it up for the Pocklington Rocket, it's Harry Matthews! And ladies and gentlemen, across the ring, his opponent boxing out of the red corner. We're in the black, white and gold shorts. Hailing from Sheffield with a professional record of 2 wins. Weighing 12 stone, 10 pound and 4 ounce. Give it up for Mikey, the Lord Harrison!
Could be set for a real cracker here. Harry Matthews fighting out of the blue corner in the black shorts with Haz across the waistband. The Pocklington Rocket, 37-year-old, 116 fights. But Mikey Harrison, the 21-year-old, in black, white and gold, has put on 2 really good performances right here at Skate Central in his opening 2 bouts as a professional, and looks sharp as ever. He's got that height and reach advantage. He's tall at the weight. This scheduled for 4 threes. Been in with good opposition though, Harry Matthews. As I mentioned, went the distance with Chris Eubank Jr., but that was many, many moons ago in 2012. But he's fought the likes of Jamie Cox, Jack Cullen, of course, former British and Commonwealth champion, and last year fought Liam Cameron, who's set for that rematch with Ben Whittaker in April. He stopped in the first round in that one, but still he stepped up against good opposition. Good solid start here from Mikey Harrison. He works really well behind that lovely long jab of his. He has those broad shoulders. He's able to really whip his shots in using that leverage, and he gets his hands going. 2 good performances we've seen from him so far. Let's see if he can build on that this evening. Really good atmosphere in here. We've got a rapturous reception. And when we interviewed him ringside after his debut, he was smiling from ear to ear. He absolutely loved every moment. Be interesting to see him progress now. Lovely long jab of his that Harry Matthews is finding difficult to find a way past as he just tucks up, the man from Yorkshire. This is smart from Matthews though, not presenting any openings for Harrison so far, but he's not rushing his work, he's taking his time. Again, nice use of the jab from Harrison, keeping Matthews at distance. Really effective at that long range, Harrison. Matthews having success at the mid-range. Last 30 seconds of this opening round. And a reminder, just 21 years old, Mikey Harrison, so lots and lots of time to develop him. And he literally could take these rounds just with the effective use of the jab, Max, couldn't he?
Yeah, Mikey, he's a good prospect, and you know, Harry's no mug. He's an experienced journeyman. All Mikey needs to do is just stay in your jab, use those levers. He's very, very tall and limp for this weight, so he's got to be a nightmare for any opposition, as we can just see at the replays, just at the end of his jab. But Harry is good getting beyond his jab and very experienced, and he's good at these areas. So, you know, Mikey's just got to figure it out a little bit.
23 amateur bouts, Mikey Harrison, and won the Yorkshire belt as well. Said he's learnt a great deal already as a pro. Those are the aspects that differ to the amateurs, selling tickets and making weight and so on, but he's adapted well to it and enjoying life in the pros. He credits his coach John Fuchs as a huge influence, and Clinton Woods as well, so he's always looked up to him. And he is massively appreciative of the great support that he gets on fight night, as again we see that lovely sharp jab of his, and he could, as I say, take these rounds with that jab alone. So effective is that shot for him. Matthews having success when he can just nip into that mid-range and close range area and get his shots off, but seldom opportunity to do so, because Harrison effective with that jab, but also just dictating the distance. Jerky movements from Harrison with that front foot, and then a stiff jab finds its way through that guard of Matthews. And again, just rocking the head back of Matthews, but he just endeavours to try and get up on the chest of Harrison, but ends up in a clinch. He's got many aspirations outside of boxing as Harry Matthews. He's an aspiring actor. Played the role of Roy Barber in Boxer on Netflix last year. Wanting to make the transition into acting as he nears the end of his long boxing career. Written and starred in his own short film as well. Started boxing as a youngster to channel his aggression, but says it's over the years been a real focus and goal in life for him. He might want to get involved in training and managing fighters as well, so lots of strings to his bow as he just tries to edge forward behind that front foot and put Harrison under a little bit of pressure, but Harrison just tying him up. This is Matthews' third outing this year. He had 14 last year, so he is active out of the TSM boxing gym. Glenn Banks and Niall Almond, his coaches. Him and Glenn Banks parted ways in 2011, but back together now, so good to see them working together at the twilight stage of his career, as Mikey Harrison again just letting those long shots go. Little jerky upper body movements, keeping Matthews guessing, and it's good from Harrison. Really is a tall figure at this weight, and those broad shoulders allow him to whip those shots round. And when he uses that jab effectively and adjusts his feet, it's very difficult to get up close to him, as we see there, just using his feet to stave off that, the oncoming Harry Matthews there. Nice 1-2 again. Good to see him mixing it to the body as well. Doesn't have to do a great deal different here, Mikey Harrison. It's a comfortable pace for him. Matthews not able to close the distance really, so he's able to dictate that distance and box well within himself, but looking good doing it as well.
Yeah, Mikey. He's like I said, those levers are so long. When you're so big at the weight, you know, and you're tussling with that sort of range you have to get on. If you're Harry, you know, you have to get on beyond that range and close the distance. So, you know, like we're just seeing there, it's just staying on the end of his jab. And Harry has to make that work to close that gap. See, like just now, he's just end of the 1-2s. Mikey G is very, very tall at this weight. So be interested. I feel Mikey can maybe step it up and put a bit more pressure on, but yeah, does he need to? You know, if he's just.
And that's the interesting thing, Max. He's only 21 years old, so this very much an early phase of the project, if you like, in this young man's career. So no need to risk anything, any injuries or cuts by upping the pressure when everything that he's doing is quite sufficient to take the rounds. And that maybe is what they want from him, getting the rounds under his belt and just improving in small increments at these early stages of career. And given that he's only 21, you imagine he could well move up in weight as he reaches his full man strength and physique, potentially.
Yeah, and like we're seeing now, you know, it's like his last fight. I think he got cut in his last fight last year. But, you know, if Harry asks a question, sometimes that makes you a better fighter and come out yourself. Harry's just literally putting on a little bit of speed now, and it might ask questions of Mikey in a minute.
Plenty of movement, just out of range from Harry Matthews, but then when it comes to closing that distance, it's proving difficult. Plenty of head movement from him, and he is stepping to Harrison, but suffice to say, difficult to get in range when that ramrod jab is being stuck out into your face and into your midriff and the top of your head and all angles so frequently. Nice 1-2 from Harrison, and maybe would like to see him follow up on those occasions sometimes, Max. Not to be critical, and I think it's sensible and composed, but just now and then maybe to go again.
Yes, and I think once he gets that success, what after? Don't admire it, go after and look for the next, you know, sort of selection of shots straight after.
Final minute of the third.
Harry is quite slippery customer. He likes to slip, so, you know, Mikey's, you know, he's still got his work cut out. He's still, you know, he's closing down the gap and trying to force a pace on Mikey.
Been a good work rate from Harry Matthews in this third round. Nothing to trouble Harrison too much, but it's good to see him being made to work. Just having to work his way out of a clinch in the neutral corner. Good work from Harrison in the closing stages, but a good round as well for Harry Matthews, who took the fight to Harrison as best he could there and was trying to endeavour to close the distance and get his shots off when he could. But good work from Harrison behind that jab, perhaps not as dominant with it in that round.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is I think it's a mixture. Harry's sort of up the pace, you know, Germany's up the pace and he's closed down the back with that. But I want to see now Mikey to adapt. You know, not everything can be the end of your jab all the time. You know, what happens, what else is in your artillery when they get beyond your jab? What else does Mikey have? You know, so Harry's that sort of journeyman who could quite capably ask questions about.
No need to rush anything for Mikey Harrison here. Of course, you could say that perhaps he could go for the stoppage, but Fighters like Harry Matthews know how to get through the rounds. He's only been stopped 12 times in his 92 contests. One of them came last year against Liam Cameron, who, as I say, a real tough cookie, who's in that rematch with Ben Whittaker in April. So more than proven his durability, and he's having a go here and asking questions of Harrison, which is exactly what they will want Harry Matthews to do, because they won't want Harrison to be really comfortable in every single round. They'll want him to be tested a little bit, because he can only develop and improve from that. Just needs to be a bit more volume from Harrison here in this fourth round.
Yeah.
A bit more effective with that jab. He's not seeing as many feints from him now. We were getting that jerky movement from him in the first 2 rounds. Saw a glimpse of it there, though.
I want to see him double up in the jab. I want to see him double it.
Just a single shot there and allowed Harry Matthews to reply when he had him up against the rope. So perhaps an opportunity there, and he's found himself with his back up against the ropes himself now, Harrison. So perhaps just needs to capitalise sometimes on these opportunities when it comes to ring position. But all part of the development, of course, and it's been a good performance from him, no doubt about that. Just needs to be effective and dominant with that jab. That's his main and most effective tool here, and there we go. That's much better from him again. Just working behind that jab, and that makes it really difficult for Harry Matthews to advance. Again, good work from Harrison. That jab is absolutely key for him. When he jabs and takes the step back, almost impossible for Matthews to close the distance.
Yeah.
And when he does, he ends up leaning over that front foot, head against his chest, and can't work.
Yeah.
Got all the space behind him here, Harrison, now. Gets his feet moving, and that's good defensive work. Just needs to be a little bit careful when he's switching the angle there with his feet.
I think Mikey, I want to see a little bit more volume from him, but yeah, he's playing it safe. And why shouldn't you? You know, it's just a confident performance by Mikey. So,
and sometimes it's just a matter of personality. Some fighters, you just can't hold them back. They get in there, it's like they're off the leash, and it's just pure firepower. Others have a different way of expressing their ability, and Harrison just low guard, trying to goad Harry Matthews onto him, but finishes in the clinch. A really good first 2 rounds for Harrison. Allowed Harry Matthews back into it a little bit at the end, but overall, another really good performance from the man from Sheffield. And again, just 21 years old, and I'm sure they'll be pleased with the way that he's developing.
To be honest, Mikey, he did really well. But this is the thing, why go for it and go for a stoppage if you've got the rounds in the bag? So, I mean, it was a good performance by Mikey, so you can't fault it. And, there's more to come from him. I like to start seeing him maybe one more 4-rounder, then start seeing some 6-rounders and get going for those levels. He needs, some journeyman that can sort of take it to him and force him.
And that's part of the skill here, isn't it? Is matching them at the right time with the right opponents. Well, let's get our official announcement for our MC, Craig Denham.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, bout number 6, please show your appreciation for both boxers. So, ladies and gentlemen, your judge, A-star Michael Alexander, scores the bout 39-38 in favour of your winner. It's Mikey the Lord Harrison in the red corner.
So, to the delight of the crowd here in support of Mikey Harrison, their home fighter
big shout
from
out
Sheffield,
to the Pocklington Rocket,
just 21
Harry
years old,
Matthews.
moves to 3-0. 39-38 was fair though, because some really good work from Harry Matthews, so all credit to him as well. But another good solid performance as the career builds gradually for Mikey Harrison.
Yes, I agree. I think, Mikey would just plod on from here and just move forward. Harry, look, he's look, he's been stopped 12 times in 90-odd fights. So, you know, it takes some doing to, you know, outcast and outwork a person of that calibre.
Mikey, yet again, an amazing reception from your supporters here. I know it means a lot to you having that support and fighting at home. How did you find that? Because Harry Matthews brought it to you, particularly in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, you know Harry, when you watch him, he's a typical away fighter. You know, some days he's going to turn up and he's going to have a bit more of a go. Some days he's going to move around a little bit like they do. Today, I know that I can box a lot better. Like the last fight, I think I've been drawn in a little bit, so I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. But ultimately, there were no question on the decision. I knew that I'd won the fight. But yeah, Harry's a tough, experienced away fighter. You know.
And of course, there's no rush for you. I mean, you could have coasted each round there, just winning it with that jab alone. Yeah. It was so effective, and you dominated and dictated the distance and the range throughout. Is that part of the plan, to just steady but surely build? You are only 21 years old.
Well, like you say, only 21 years old, 3rd pro fight. I know the game and I know that I'm still a baby. But ultimately, the question you've just asked me is down to these 2 men and Dennis Hobson. Whenever they think I'm ready to step up, they will put me in the challenges, which I want. I want a challenge. I don't want to just box a 4-rounder and have a body just moving around for 4 rounds. What am I going to get out of that? Something like that, although I know I can box a lot better, and I'm slightly disappointed once again, that will do me the world of good for the future.
I want a body for him to move around with.
And this is the thing, isn't it? We were talking in commentary about how it's really important getting this right, because you are so young. You're going to continue to grow, which is remarkable because you're huge at the weight already, but it's just getting that matchmaking right, isn't it, where it is allowed to develop.
Especially because Harry didn't come to play the game tonight. He obviously needed maybe a few rounds or a draw or a win or something like that. And we're going to have a chat about him maybe doing super middle. I know he's big already, but I think the physicality of Harry when he were throwing some punches kind of threw Mikey off a little bit. But that sounds like I'm saying, I thought he boxed brilliant. He was really down on himself in his last time, and he's worried about it and worried about it and worried about it. Some of the changes we made then were so much better than the first one. He's a baby. He's going to have, I don't care what anybody says, he's going to have another 4 rounders. And he's going to take his time until we get it exactly how we want it. We'll get him down around about super middle, see how he feels. And I feel the physicality then, and when he starts believing he's sending a little bit more fire in that jab, right? I'm very proud of him tonight because, like I say, Harry didn't come. He got around and.
Yeah, and he's very experienced as well. He's had 116 fights and been in there with the likes of Liam Cameron, even Chris Eubank Jr. many moons ago. So there you go.
Sorry, because you know what? I will take Thingy for this a little bit. He hasn't had an easy 3 fights. He hasn't had an easy first 3 fights. So, and that's because he wants this and that, right? I'm not sitting here saying I want him just to box a road sweeper or whatever. What I'm saying is I don't want him to keep getting these hard fights like this. I want him to learn his game, learn his trade, learn his crust, and he's going to be a very good fighter.
What about a roofer? Is it just road sweepers you got something against? We'll see who we can find. But anyway, I hope you take confidence from that, because it is a gradual build. You can see the improvements from one fight to the next. Sounds like you're going to have to be patient, though. Of course, if it's down to these two, that development. But how are you going to be celebrating tonight? And any shout-outs to your support, which was fantastic again tonight, wasn't it?
Once again, you know, 10 week after Christmas, whatever it is, you know, 9-10 week after Christmas, they've come out in the numbers again. They've spent their hard-earned money to support me. I can't thank them enough. They're the reason I do it. And let's push on from here now. Still get behind me, and let's see how far we can go.
Definitely don't be down on yourself. Another really good performance. Everyone enjoyed it in here, and we can't wait to see you back out again. Well done.
Thank you, Nan's Pies.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, bout number 7 brings you 10 rounds of boxing in the flyweight division. Introducing your blue corner to the ring. Give it up for Kate Radomska.
Dancing her way to the ring then, Kate Radomska, 34-year-old from Waterford in Ireland, but born in Poland, 9 fights in, made a debut in 2021. Said she loves fighting and it's all she's ever wanted to do. Did Muay Thai prior to boxing. And then when she came across footage of Ryan Burnett, he boxed for Ricky Hatton back in the day, of course, really good fighter. Himself out of Ireland was Ryan Burnett. That inspired her to box. She had a few amateur fights, Celtic Box Cup champion 2018 and 2019, before turning professional. Been in with some top-class opponents, the likes of Chloe Watson,
and ladies and gentlemen,
the European champion.
Your red corner to the ring.
Looking
Give
to
it
make
up
it a difficult evening.
Nicola Hurricane Hopewell.
For the woman who's about to emerge now and make her way to the ring. Here she comes then, Nicola Hurricane Hopewell, the current flyweight Commonwealth champion. She's had Katy Perry Raw as a ring walk song since the amateurs, 32 amateur bouts, won 23 of them. Started boxing to keep fit. And this is her second of a 3-fight deal with Dennis Hobson Promotions. Last October, here at Skate Central in Sheffield, was her first defence of the Commonwealth Flyweight title. That's not on the line this evening, but a really tough test ahead.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on FightZone, where Mr. Dennis Hobson and Fight Academy proudly present our main event of the evening. 10 rounds of boxing in the flyweight division. The contest is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, area representative Mr. Alan Ulster. Our timekeeper at the bell is Mr. Pete Humphrey of Doncaster, and our referee is A-star Darren Surginson of Manchester. Ladies and gentlemen, your boxers. Firstly, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the yellow and white. Hailing out of Waterford, Ireland, with a professional record of 4 wins and 5 losses. Weighing in at 7 stone, 13 pound, it's Kate Radomska! And ladies and gentlemen, across the ring, her opponent boxing out of the red corner, wearing the white and turquoise with gold trim. Hailing from a workshop with a professional record, 6 wins with 1 by KO and 1 defeat. Weighing in at 7 stone, 13 pound and 5 ounce. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Nicola Hurricane Hopewell!
This one scheduled for 10-2s, then the Commonwealth Flyweight title not on the line this evening. That was picked up, of course, in April last year at the Magna Centre in Rotherham by Nicola Hopewell against Gemma Rueg, a really tough opponent that she beat on points unanimously. And then defended it against Mary Abbey, the Nigerian, right here at Skate Central. And a brilliant night for Hopewell in October. Title not on the line this evening, but plenty to fight for, as Kate Radomska is a real game opponent. And she'll want to put it on Hopewell if she gets the opportunity. Nicola Hopewell in that last outing against Mary Abbey had a difficult opening 3 or 4 rounds, as the Nigerian was really quite an awkward customer and posed problems for her, but she overcame that, and it was a really, really good performance from her in the end. Dropped Mary Abbey in the 10th on the way to that unanimous points decision. That was the first defence of her Commonwealth Flyweight title. Has a lot of support from Ebony Bridges, along with her coach Daz Medcarve, and Rob Riley as well in her corner. And got a good team behind her. She's just using that jab to just feel out and try and gauge the range here. Good exchanges from these two. 2-minute rounds, remember, for the women's contests. Much shorter time, and really important for them to work effectively in the time they have. Fairly even opening round, I would say, Max.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's working her out. You know, and she did this last time against in her last bout. You know, she just works the opponent out. So, you know, she doesn't get too much involved, like we've just seen there. At the end, she started to, but it's all about working your opponent out, seeing their movements, what they do, if there's any patterns. And that's what champions do, I guess.
Radomska was last out against Shannon Ryan at York Hall. That one ended in a 3rd round stoppage. She's had 4 wins of her 9 contests, 5 losses. That one from Shannon Ryan being the stoppage. And then, as I say, faced Chloe Watson, the European champion, last June. Watson, of course, will fight next week on the all-female card at Royal Albert Hall on the 7th of March. Finally gets the opportunity to defend her European title. Watson from Liverpool. And she's been on the big stage, Radomska, as well. Faced Maisie Rose Courtney in May of 2023 in Dublin at the O3 Arena. That was on the undercard of that huge Katie Taylor and Chantel Cameron matchup. So she won't be fazed by this at all. And this is good work from Radomska. Shipping a couple of shots from Hopewell though. And you can see Hopewell round by round, as she's done every time we've seen her in her previous 7 fights, just working her opponent out. She had that one loss. That was when she went up in weight though. Feels far more comfortable at this weight, and she's been effective at this weight as well.
I agree.
And she'll want to move on, I'm sure, from that Commonwealth title and look to compete for titles in this division. She's just got to be mindful of that backhand though from Radomska, which has found a home on the head of Hopewell a couple of times in this second round.
I do like Hopewell when she sees a jab coming, she does try to catch the jab, and you know, and some shots which is quite unique, and she does reply back. So yeah, she has a defensive mind, but you know, saying that she has been caught. So, but yeah,
just perhaps needs to be a little bit cleaner with the work, Hopewell, and rather than just getting involved in the mix, which Radomska's happy to do and drag her into a fight, just perhaps needs to be boxing on the outside a little bit more at range, because when she's in this type of range it favours Radomska. Just needs to keep it at range a little bit more. That's a little bit better from Hopewell, because then that way the judges can clearly see the shots. And there we go, that's much better work from Hopewell. That's where she needs to be and where she's so effective once she gets those straight shots going.
I think we saw a bit of a correlation of that in the last fight. She found that last sort of, you know, fighter in the last fight a little bit tricky. It took her time to work out, but when she started to find a range and find, you know, where a range will be, she started to put the shots together. So I think this is a case of like the same in this fight, and we just saw that at the end of the second round.
And you would expect that as this one goes on and progresses, Nicola Hopewell will make the necessary adjustments and adapt, because that's what we've seen her do every time. And she is technically a better boxer than Radomska, but that doesn't matter if you get drawn into a brawl. And that's not to discredit Radomska. She's a good fighter in her own right. You've got to feel it does favour her when it's at close quarters and mixing it, whereas if Hopewell can just keep it at distance and perhaps work in 2 phases, coming in and out and back in again and going twice with those long shots, that'll be more effective. Just needs to be patient setting up these shots. Sometimes when you're eager to get forward, you can fall in and end up entangled. She needs to just be a little bit further out, Hopewell, to be effective, because Radomska, as soon as you get near her, will let her hands go. Got a 15-year-old son, has Kate Radomska, Conrad, who'll be watching. He's a huge inspiration for her, and she wants to be an example to mothers that you can live your dreams and have big ambitions and still have an unbreakable bond that she says she has with her son. So I'm sure he'll be watching with great pride this evening. Really evenly matched, this one, and Radomska, unlike Mary Abbey, you'd have to imagine, will not fatigue, because Mary Abbey very visibly fatigued. She was absolutely exhausted and hanging on for dear life in the latter rounds here in October. That won't be the case with Radomska. Superb conditioning and the volume of punches just continually throwing at Nicola Hopewell, and that's something that she's got to match or deal with.
I think as well with Radomska, she's had notification for this fight. In her previous fights against like Watson and Ryan, she sort of come off the sofa, but she's had notification for this fight against Nicola. So, you know, this why it shows she's putting up a good fight, because you know she's been conditioned.
There's a little shake of the head there from Nicola Hopewell as she made her way back to the corner.
Yeah.
Perhaps an indication that she's getting a little bit frustrated, and that can happen because Radomska is the sort of fighter that's effective at close range. She can tie you up and make it difficult. And Hopewell has got to figure out the range and the distance here. That's key for her, not to get tangled like we're seeing here on the replay, because when she's at distance and she can get those lovely long levers going, she's really effective, but she's not able to pick her shots and display the accuracy when she's up at close quarters here, because as you can see, it ends up in a messy tangle, and it's difficult for the judges to decipher who's having the better of it. So she's got to keep it clean, got to be more accurate, and do that at distance, you feel.
I feel she got too involved in that round, personally. She needs to obviously stay to her boxing, maybe keep on the outside like you suggested.
Again, finding it really difficult not to end up in a tangle with Radomska. These two, sometimes when they come together, just ends up a messy affair, and I think the referee now
might take a point.
Is having a stern word with Radomska.
He's going to take a point, I think.
This is a final warning. He's not taking a point because he would have done that by now, but he's making absolutely certain that Radomska is under a final warning, and that may help Hopewell now, because Radomska, if she's not able to grab on, that should assist Hopewell in finding the space to get her shots off. But she is a tricky opponent, Radomska, that's for sure. It can be difficult to look good against her. That's exactly what she brings. She's a real tough fighter. She doesn't stop coming. Happy to mix it. High volume of punches and constant work rate. Hopewell, though, always supremely well conditioned, and she'll be able to match that. Just needs to do it in intelligent fashion. And you just feel at times as Radomska steps forward, if Hopewell can just take that step back and then walk her onto a shot, she'll be more effective with that backhand.
Keeps putting this elbow in her chin.
Just needs to step back here in these situations, Hopewell, and just make space to then get that backhand off.
I feel Radomska's complains to the ref too much. But Nicola just needs to stay on the outside a little bit and just pick at her with a jab.
You can see that she's trying to do that, but sometimes just getting drawn in, and you can understand why, and it's really, really difficult to do, but you can see it getting better each round, just finding that range and distance.
I mean, to be fair, if I said to her in the corner, I just think she just needs to be not trying to. I mean, Radomska, she's a scrapper. She prefers it in a telephone box. It is evidently. She likes it up close and personal. Nicola likes it at the end, outside, and just literally, like we're seeing now, the clean work was on the outside, but when she gets involved, it starts getting messy. Like this, it starts getting messy. And she starts getting success. When she's got it on range, she does get success. Then when she goes mid to close, it just gets so grotty.
It's so difficult when you're wanting to get at the opponent, and with sheer will you're pushing yourself forward, and it's counterintuitive sometimes to step back, but sometimes that's exactly what you need to do. And we can see Radomska there straight out into the thick of the action, putting it straight on Hopewell, not giving her a moment to breathe. She has that high guard, and her elbows are really high, Max. So you feel that if Hopewell could fashion an opening to go to the body, she is open to it.
Yes.
Elbows really are high. There's space behind and beneath those, isn't there, for Hopewell to operate, but tending to go to the head instead.
I just feel
this is better. Feint with the front foot from Hopewell, managing to keep the distance so far.
I think as well with Nicola here is, she can't help getting involved, and it's all very well.
She's not getting involved. It's that Radomska's holding her.
Yeah.
So as soon as she gets in range, she's holding her.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's unavoidable. But so long as she gets clean shots off before that clinch, then she'll have done the cleaner telling work.
Yes.
That's what counts here. Little she can do about the clinches really, because Radomska's taking that space and just grabbing on. But if Hopewell can land clear shots before that, then that's what is going to separate the two. I think as well there are times when if Hopewell can just allow Radomska to walk onto that backhand, just take a tiny step back as she comes in, she will catch her, because she's open to that. Once she lets her hands go, she has very little regard for a defence, Radomska, so she is open to it. This is great work rate from Radomska, and this is exactly what we expect from her when she's got notice of a fight and she's in good condition. Relentless work rate. And this has been a tough scrap for Hopewell.
Nice backhand.
Finding a way through with those clean shots though. And that's the point, that even if there's a clinch after, she'd managed to land three clear shots, and that's what really counts.
But it's just knowing how to get out of those clinches and getting it backing off and find that range. But she did it that time, and that was good to see. And she got quite a bit of success. So, I'll see you on the replay. But that's where she's comfortable though.
That was much better though, that double jab, and then she took that step out, and then as Radomska came in, she met her with that backhand, and that's what she's been able to do in that last round. So she's starting to figure out the range and distance and realise there is a way to get the clean shots off if even the clinches are unavoidable. Getting those clean shots off is key. Up on her toes, Radomska, bouncing from one foot to the other, ready to get underway. Hopewell just circling. Lovely work behind the jab from Hopewell. Much better from Hopewell there, just evading those first couple of shots from Radomska, and then in those little gaps in action, finding a way through.
That's where she's
This is good work from Hopewell.
Yes. That's where she's best at.
Just a front foot feint. Radomska just out of range there, and she sustained a nasty cut there to her right eye. Perhaps a head clash that was.
I mean, to be honest, she's been doing it all round. So
referee just having a word with the corner there. I'm not too sure why. I think it was something that was said. That is a considerably large
cut
wound.
The doctor's going to have to take a look, I think.
Well, that's why they're in the neutral corner, to await the doctor to have a look at it.
To be honest, she's been doing it all round, and so that was going to always come. So really, that serves you right, if I'm honest. She's been holding her up and putting her elbows in Nicola's face all fight. So, reap what you sow.
Well, these things can happen in boxing no matter the way, no matter what your approach is. They can happen. It is a blood sport at times, so nobody's fault. These can happen. Accidental head clash, but the ref having a word.
I'd be punching on that all night.
Ref has just said that was accidental. Speaking to the officials at ringside, he said that was accidental. So
yeah, I'll be punching
back underway now. Inside the last minute of round 6, and that will be a problem, of course, for Radomska, especially because that will open right up and it will be flowing into her eye, but it's a right eye instead of the lead left eye, so that helps her somewhat, and it may encourage Hopewell to aim for that, of course, because referee not happy with this, wants the doctor to have another look.
I don't blame the referee wanting to have a look.
Referee just having a word in the corner and just trying to console Radomska, who's going to be bitterly disappointed if this is brought to an end prematurely due to that accidental cut. And the doctor indeed in agreement with the referee now. So the corner of Radomska are saying that that was caused by the elbow of Nicola Hopewell. That was the dispute, and that's what the back and forth between the corner and the referee was about, because they were saying that that was due to the elbow of Nicola Hopewell, but the referee disagreed and said that it was an accidental head clash. So that one, of course, without seeing the replay, not too sure, not exactly sure when that occurred, but it was instantaneous and a really significant wound that she sustained and just unable to carry on. But the Radomska corner very unhappy, given that they felt it was caused by an elbow. Perhaps we'll see what happened here. No, that definitely was a head clash from what I could see there. It was not the elbow of Nicola Hopewell. If we look closely here, that was definitely the head of Nicola Hopewell. There was no elbow involved there whatsoever, as both of their heads came together, which can happen, completely accidental. They both came forward at the same time. Their heads clashed, and that caused the cut that was sustained to Radomska. The doctor was happy to let her continue for a moment or two, but the referee, again, as that continued to open up and the blood was pouring from the eye of Radomska and impeding her vision, was unhappy and called the doctor back to have another look at it. And you can see there on the camera that is a huge opening, isn't it? And in an awful place as well, right on the eyebrow. So certainly going to need some treatment. You would imagine some stitches after this, as they just do the best to clean Radomska up in the corner. She'll be bitterly disappointed. She was well prepared for this, and sad to see, because that was a really intense and exciting affair, and maybe we'll see this one again. But good adjustments made by Nicola Hopewell, but it was scrappy, it was messy, and head clashes can happen.
Okay,
let's get the official announcement for our MC.
Ladies and gentlemen, bout number 7, please show your appreciation for both boxers. So, ladies and gentlemen, there was an accidental foul in round 6, which takes us to a technical decision, and your scores by A-star referee Darren Surgeson on Manchester, 58 to 57 to your winner. And it's Nicola Hurricane Hopewell in the red corner.
So no surprise there, Max, because although it was a messy affair and it difficult to look good against Radomska when she's making it so difficult and spoiling you, which is absolutely the right thing for her to do, perhaps, to make the best account of herself and make it as difficult as possible for Nicola Hopewell. She still was clearly technically superior, got off the cleaner shots and made the adjustments that she needed to in what was a really tough fight tonight. Boxed as well as she could in those circumstances.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Hopewell did very, very well. To be honest, you know, she made the adjustments, and you know, this journey with Radomska, she just made it very, very messy. But you know, it's in my opinion, she just deserved the cut because she kept tying her up and putting elbows in Hopewell's face. So reap what you sow, I'm afraid.
Nicola, last time we were here was the first defence of your Commonwealth title. That not on the line tonight, but what a tough customer. We know what she brings. We've seen her before. She's been in against good opposition as well. Just how tough was it to create the space to get off some clean work?
Yeah, I mean, every time I did something, like she leant in and grabbed me, and head clash will come in, and it's usually me that gets caught. So I'm pretty glad that didn't happen this time. But she was so tricky, and I can't build up. I'd seen who she'd been in with. She'd been in with like Chloe Watson, Shannon Ryan, Maisie Rose, and I'd watched all fights, and I knew that she was going to be a tricky customer from like when fight was matched. But like that's what I wanted. I wanted to test myself. But yeah, when you're in there. It's just hard to create that space when she's leaning in and grabbing and stuff like that, and I don't think that was my best performance. Like it weren't as good as last time, but I hope I showed like what I've been working on in the gym and stuff like that.
I think it's really difficult to look good against an opponent like that because it did get scrappy in there at times, and it was difficult, but you could tell you were making the adjustments to create that space and land the cleaner work, and that was telling in the end on that technical decision.
Yeah, when I tried, like when we were tied up, I did try punching out of it and going round sides. Like I did like try, but it's hard when your hands are tied, so I just did what I could when I were in there.
Absolutely. I mean, she is really experienced. Chloe Watson, of course, defends her European title next week, so she has been in with top-level opposition. You've done a three-fight deal with this gentleman here. That's the second of them. A great reception here and 2 really good performances as well.
Yeah, what are you asking me?
What's next?
Right.
Should know this. It's what you've been doing for 30 years, apparently.
You've been there and done this. She's world-class. Now, you've been in with a kid there who all she wanted to do was spoil Nicola there, and you've been in with a kid who didn't want to engage and didn't want to fight, and she wanted to spoil Nicola, and it just so happens unluckily that she got a bad cut, but Nicola wanted to come to fight, and I look at her and I think the more I look at Nicola, she's world-class. And she's got a great team behind her. I look at her shape, and when she can fight and she can box. So
and it's the way she adapts, isn't it? Like she did to Mary Abbey last time. She was a really awkward customer as well. You need to get someone who's not as awkward, but she adapted again. You can see that development round by round.
But she's just fought the IBO world champion, and so she's come tonight and had a look at Nicola and thought, aye, if I want to stay the distance here, I've got to spoil. And that was the only way she was going to go to 10 rounds. And it just so happens she got a bad cut, but the only way that she could go 10 rounds was to spoil Nicola and smother Nicola's work. Because
she had a good work rate as well. But my question was, what's next? So what's the plan here?
All right, put me on the spot. Are you an interviewer? No, because Nicola is world class, and I need to talk to her manager. I need to talk to Dad here, and we will plot a path for her. She is potentially the next world champion from Sheffield, I promise you.
Amazing, and it's a really competitive division, but lots of opportunities and great fights out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some cracking fights to be made. But, and I'll stand by this is the hardest punching flyweight probably in the world. She can back, but sometimes she's a bit eager. Listen, we know what Kate's about, but she's fought everyone. I mean, Kate fought Chloe Watson, Maisie Rose.
And at the O3 Arena as well in Dublin on a massive undercard of Katie Taylor and Chantel Cameron, so she's dealt with the big occasion.
Yeah, I mean, for all them fights, she's had late notice. She's had a camp for this, and, you know, I expected the best Kate Radomska, but I think as soon as Nick clipped her, she wanted to hold.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we wish her all the best because she's...
Ask her a question. Can you win a world title?
Yes, I can.
So what's next for you then? And as I say, we do wish Kate all the best. You're probably going to have stitches now, which is never the best, before she takes the trip back to Dublin. But what's next for you then? Obviously enjoying this occasion, back into camp. Yeah. What do you hope for this year?
Yeah, so first of all, I just hope that cut of Kate's heals and like heals well and stuff like that, and she's back out real soon. But yeah, what's next? So yeah, I just need a sit down with my team.
What would be your dream scenario this year?
My dream scenario, world title.
Absolutely. Well, let's hope that that comes in. This is part of the building blocks on platforms like FightZone, isn't it, to get there? Final word to you.
And I had an awkward opponent tonight. I had an awkward opponent last time, and I dealt with it. I adapted in there, got the win. So just a massive thank you to everyone that came to support me, everyone who bought a ticket, everyone who's tuned in. Massive thank you to all my sponsors. A lot of them are in the audience. Just massive thanks to everyone, and of course to Dad, to Dennis for putting me on the show, Ebony, she'll be watching at home, Martha for doing all my training and my S&C and my nutrition and getting me in like fight ready nutrition-wise. So yeah.
Got a great team behind you and all the potential in the world with the world at your feet. So have a good rest now and enjoy this one, and we can't wait to see you back in action.
Thank you.
That's all about us, all from us. Thanks for joining us at Skate Central in Sheffield. And remember, the 4th of April, Battle of the Bridge, UK versus USA. Don't miss it on FightZone TV and TalkSport. Thanks for joining us.
Big bit of you all.